just a puff of wind, barely a baby's fart out there. I'm joined in the commentary box, I'm very pleased to say, by World Cup and World Championship half-pipe rider, Mr. Rocco Tate. How you doing, Rocco?
Oh, I'm doing great. Lovely to be here again. Having a great time. I'm excited about how good the weather is again. We've been really lucky this week.
Yeah, it's been absolutely phenomenal. Cardrona is always known for having a juicy amount of wind raking the ridge tops, but fantastically, it's been settled and steady for the last 4 days. So it's been very, very good conditions for qualifying. And we've already seen an immense level of riding, Rocco. For juniors, a sort of 13, 14 through to 18, it's been ridiculously high, quite frankly. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that part of the reason why we're seeing just this amazing progression from these young riders is that we're witnessing sort of the beginning, or rather the first generation that's had airbags coming up all the way through their riding. You can almost call them the airbag generation, just with so many reps on these insanely big tricks and insane rotations that wasn't possible before the advent of the landing airbag.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because in the women's free ski finals earlier on, there were 10 women in the finals, 3 jumps each. So 30 jumps went down in those finals. There were only 2 jumps that they weren't even crashes, they were bails, and one of them was skied out of. That level of consistency at for this age group is ridiculous. And that, you think you can attribute that directly to airbags?
Yeah, I really think you can, just because you can get so many more safer reps into these tricks. Even by the time you're taking these tricks to snow, you've already had hundreds even of repetitions on these tricks that even 10 years ago would be considered sort of a one-off, and only bringing those tricks out for big events.
Well, we have seen that in the last 2 to 3 years. We're going to see Tiger Hasegawa in action today. He put all 4 18s down at the end of 2021, I think. So the speed at which we've progressed through those spins, we started seeing 1980s at the Kreuzberg Big Air back in January. They weren't landed, but there were attempts. But we're expecting to see 18s at a Junior World Championships today. We're going to be talking about this in great detail as the finals unfold. But let's kick off with a quick look at the schedule. This is the format: Snowboard Big Air, 3 runs for the women, 3 runs for the men. It's going to take probably a couple of hours, and we're going to be able to chew into each of these. The format is one of the most interesting parts, and we're going to dig into that in just a moment, though. But I thought, why not, just for the hell of it, brag about how good the weather is. Let's take a look at the graphic and see what we make of this. I love, if you look just under the left side of the S of sunny, you can see the left-hand flag is trying its best to do a flutter. Meanwhile, the right-hand side is absolutely dead on its feet. So I think that 10 kilometers an hour of wind is quite optimistic at this stage. 4 degrees on the air temperature, getting nice and warm. We saw Leo Landro in the free ski riding in a T-shirt. The snow, 2 degrees. I think it's heating up very, very quickly there. Now, we talked about the format and what we can expect to see today. We can hear more about that now from our head judge in snowboarding, Gaz Vogan.
Big Air is a one-trick contest. The riders are going to come down, they'll hit this massive jump, and they'll throw down their biggest trick, their most technical trick. They'll try execute it well, hit a really high amplitude, and land it cleanly to ride away. That is basically the name of the game. It's a contest built for show-offs. In Snowboard Big Air, the riders have 3 runs, and within that, we're going to take the 2 best counted jumps that are done in different directions. We'll add the scores of those together, and we'll get our overall winner and the rest of our rank from this start list. So with each trick, we're going to be evaluating it on a set criteria. We'll look at the difficulty of the tricks, looking at that rotation, the axis used, and what type of grab it is. We'll be looking at the execution, how stable the trick is, how aesthetic it is, whether the grab's held for the duration of the spin, or whether there's any unstable body movements. And because it's amplitude, we want to see these riders go big. A nice pop, a good floaty trajectory, and not just a long jump straight into the car park. And we want to see them to land these tricks. We want to see nice, clean landings where both feet come down at the same time and the board is pointing straight down the hill, not under or over rotating. And with snowboarding being such a progressive sport, we want to reward that progression. So any new grabs, new axis, different takeoffs, new rotations that we see, we'll definitely reward that to help keep pushing this sport forward. So the standard of riding in this final is going to be high. In the qualification, we saw the women throwing down 9s and the men with 14s and 16s. And we know for finals, a lot of these riders are holding back an 18 in the men's or a 1080 in the women's. It's only the juniors, but this is going to be as high a standard as any World Cup or World Championship Big Air final. Let's send it.
So Gaz Vogan backing up exactly what we just talked about, Rakai. But interestingly, what we've seen in the qualifying, and I think even though it's a different panel for the free ski judging, he talked about progression there, and the acronym is PAVED. Progression, amplitude, variety, execution, and difficulty. I think from what we've seen, I think progression doesn't sit alongside execution. I think they've been prioritizing execution because anytime anyone's stretching, unless even if you're doing something, we saw Takaru Otsuka with the quad cork 18 in that VT behind Gaz. Then, if you can do that trick, great, but you've got to be able to do it perfectly still.
Yeah, you heard him emphasizing there the clean landings, and that was something that they really, really harped upon, and they were pretty harsh on in the qualifiers. You know, progression to them, I don't think means anything without that execution. Even just a hand touch can really bring down your score.
Well, in free skiing, we saw Finn Melville-Ives do a switch 18, and he did that kind of after bang punch that you get. He landed perfectly square, after bang punch, and it might have been knuckles on the snow. He got a 51 for an 18.
That is pretty incredible, honestly. You know, 18, it's just so much rotation. It's so hard to stop that amount of rotation that it's nearly impossible not to put a hand down. So, you know, we need to see these guys really solid on their boards, and these tricks need to be absolutely dialed to score well.
Okay, yeah, let it be a warning shot to all of the athletes out there who are thinking of hucking. If you don't have your 16, your 18, maybe even your 1980 on lock, then you're probably better off greasing a 14 and making it look effortless. That was certainly the messages that the judges have done so far. You can see that the activity is stepping up all over the jump. We've got marshals, we've got judges, we've got riders, we've got coaches. They're all starting to get there. Actually, that I take it all back. That 10 kilometers an hour of wind is starting to brush its way across the ridge there. So there might be a little bit of breeze for the riders to contend with, but certainly not too much at this stage. Now, we've taken a look at the format and the strategy. The third member of our team is Jossie Wells, legendary Kiwi free skier. Let's find out who he thinks the athletes to keep an eye on are.
Okay, here's my ones to watch for the Snowboard Slopestyle Junior World Championships Big Air. Right off the top, we have Taiga Hasegawa. It's pretty hard to imagine anyone beating the newly minted double world champion. With 18 seemingly on demand, it's going to be his to lose. But his fellow countryman Yuto Miyamura showed in the slopestyle finals that he is a serious podium contender. And then we have the Canadians, two strong talents in Cameron Spalding and Eli Bouchard. They'll be looking to shake things up in that Japanese podium party. Now for Cardrona's varsity team. We have Dane Menzies, who put on a really solid performance in the slopestyle finals. And he's backed up by Rocco Jameson, who's armed and dangerous with an 1800 and an axe to grind after just missing out on those finals. And on to the women. My money's on New Zealand's newest junior world champion, Lucia Georgiale. She'll be looking to carry that momentum from the slopestyle over here today to claim double gold. Up next is Emerald Maher, aka Momo. After going MIA in slopestyle, she'll be looking to get redemption in today's Big Air. And finally, the Czech rider, Vanessa Volopakova. After a great showing in slopestyle, her confidence is sky high. The stage is set for more of the same today.
Okay, so plenty to pull apart from Jossie's picks there. I think the first and most important thing probably is to say that Dane Menzies didn't make it through to the finals. And it was quite a controversial one, I think.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, he did a switchback 16, which is an incredibly hard trick. And just the execution, just a little bit off on that landing, but getting docked a lot of points there. Even though it didn't look like too much just watching it live.
Yeah, it looked like a tiny hand drag with no weight on the actual hand, but he was told by the judges 10 to 12 point docking for that. So it backs up exactly what we've seen and what we talked about before. Execution comes first. The progression definitely comes second at this stage. Also worth mentioning, Eli Bouchard, the prodigy out of Maximize, the same facility that helped develop talents like Max Perot and Mark McMorris. He's been leading the charge for the Canadians, but tried 2 frontside 16s in qualifiers and double faulted. So Eli Bouchard not making it through, Dane Menzies not making it through. But at the other end of the spectrum, Taiga Hasegawa did it at a canter.
Oh, I mean, very first pop of the event, did a frontside 16 that looked like it could have been a 12, honestly.
And then, as you said in the commentary for qualifying, he went straight down to the cafe for a flat Y, came back for a backside 180. He was that confident he was qualifying, and then went down for one of those lovely cheese scones. So Taiga Hasegawa, undoubtedly the favourite for the men. In the women's, it feels like Lucia Georgiale is bossing this.
Oh, she looks so strong. I mean, coming off of that win in the slopestyle event just a few days ago, she has to be feeling confident, and you can see it in her riding, just stomping everything with authority and hardly any bobbles from what I can see.
Well, we saw her drop her first qualifying run in slopestyle. She then tidied that up, went straight through to finals, qualifying in first place, and then finals did 2. The first run was good. The second run was immaculate. And then she did a perfect backside 720 here, first run in qualifying, and then her first 900 of the season, a backside 9, to actually up that score. So she hasn't put a foot wrong since that first qualifying run in slopestyle. We know, but what's going to be interesting with this format, they've got to spin different directions. You've got to have that deeper bag of tricks. She's been leaning hard into those big backside spins. Do you think she still comes into this event as favourite?
I think that she's definitely in the conversation. I'm not sure what her second trick is going to be, but the thing, again, that they're talking about is execution, and if they're really pushing the execution side of things, I think she has a really strong chance in this event today.
Okay, plenty to talk about with the athletes, the format and the strategy, but now it's time to take a much closer look at the jump. And to do that, we're going for a ride with Jossie Wells.
Alrighty guys, we're here at the top of the big air at Cardrona. Ava Bear is going to take us through a practice lap. Give us a little lowdown on this jump. It's going to be sick. Let's get it. Alrighty. Dropping in. Now we're going to want to take quite a bit of speed into this big boy. Jump 65 feet to the knuckle. Flying over. That's how it's done. Ew. Oh yeah, that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. 65 feet to the knuckle, 75 foot to the sweet spot. Excited to watch Ava in this final. Ew.
There you have it. I love the fact that Ava gave the camera a good spray as well.
Yeah, that's always a good sign of some hype, putting a spray down after that beautiful back 5.
Okay, let's get into this now. The women are kicking us off. Momo Suzuki, Amalia Pelchat, Ali Hickman, Demi Van Griensven, Sung Un Yu, Kiara Mori, Momo Maha, the Canadian, Sam Van Lieshout. We've got Fanny Chies, Piantanida, Laura Zavezka, Vanessa Volopikova, and the Kiwi, Lucia Georgiale, newly minted world champion, as Jossie well pointed out, dropping last. She qualified in first. First of 3 jumps. And strategy-wise, you think they're going to lay down their strongest trick and use that as a diving board for the next 2?
I mean, I think in the finals for this event, just because the progression's been so high, you're going to have to put something down progressive to be in the conversation kind of right away. I mean, it's sort of a juggle. You don't know, it's tough to decide, but I think with just the level, might be the best bet to just put something strong down right away.
Definitely a factor has been that we've had perfect conditions for the last 4 days. So all of the riders getting so much training and perfect qualifying riding as well. So there's no excuses. These riders know this jump back to front by now. Also worth giving out a quick shout out. This is a big one. Jock Barnes, he's known as the king of pop, legendary snowboarder from Oz. He broke his back in a car crash a couple of weeks ago. We want to give him a massive shout out. Heal up fast, Jock, over there in Aussie. Everyone's riding for you today. He thought for a minute it was one of those touch and go back injuries, but he's got full use of his legs. He's going to be walking again, so good on you, Jock. Now back up to the top and 3 runs. We know that we've got essentially, I think if we use Lucia Georgiale as an example, she's got that back 7 on lock. I'd say 100% we're going to see that back 7 from Lucia, and then she'll throw in that weaker direction of spin, whether it's the front side or a cab spin, and then maybe step up to that 9 as a third jump. That seems like a logical strategy to me.
That seems like a safe call, especially, I mean, that back 9 that she did the other day was the first one she's done this season. So, you know, obviously not, you know, extremely confident in that trick yet, but at the same time, you know, she did it her first time in an event that's, you know, of the season. I think that's speaking to how she's feeling on her snowboard right now.
And it's worth saying when we talk about different directions of spin, so for the women, they can use 4 different directions of spin, and they have to show 2 of them. So there's front flip, back flip, left and right. Oh, sorry. Front flip, back flip, cab, or switch front side, switch back side, front side and back side. So they can use any of those 6 to count towards their 2. For the men, it gets much more specific. They only have 4 directions. They can use front flip, back flip, and then clockwise or anti-clockwise. So that means your backside and switch front side, and your front side and switch backside spin. So they've got to have a little more diversity up their sleeve. Like you can see the women potentially spinning backside and then a cab spin, and they'll be able to use both of those tricks towards their total.
Yeah, whereas in the men's, they'll sort of see that as a continuing direction of spin, sort of cab and backside being the same direction essentially. We heard the head judge talking about takeoffs as well, and sort of the, you know, diversity that we'll see in the takeoffs, you know, maybe rodeo or todeo, and all those things, hard way directions are going to come into play, especially in that men's field.
Well, we've seen it from Tiger has so many of those at his disposal. The other thing really interesting, it's the first time I've heard it mentioned by judges, is that they're starting to take into account whether a grab aids a spin or retards a spin. So whether it speeds it up or slows it down. You look at something like a backside Weddell grab or mute, depending on what you want to call it. That front hand grabbing on the toe edge, as soon as you spin backside or turn your back to the takeoff, that hand wants to go down to that edge. So it's, you look at 14s when they first came out, the number of backside triple 14s you'd see, mute grabbed, it became like the kind of Ford Mondeo, the most boring version of the trick, whereas very often we've seen a couple of those bloody Draculas, like people getting both hands on the tail, seatbelts, roast beefs, taipans. Like, the judges must love that. It's something different.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember looking at, a couple years ago, looking at a results list from a big air event. I think it was like a stadium big air, and every single trick off of the podium was back triple 14 Weddell. That was just all the way down the sheet. And so now we're seeing sort of mixing up of grabs. I mean, we saw it with Rocco Jameson in the qualifiers, back 14 grabbing Indy, which is quite a bit more difficult, and he got definitely rewarded for a different grab selection.
Okay, so I think we can take a look up at the top now and see our first rider ready. Yep, there we go. Momo Suzuki, the 15-year-old regular footer out of Japan. So solid. Placed second in the big air and slopestyle at the Asian Cup competitions in Hakuba back in March. So she's got some pedigree.
Let's see what she's got on the jump. With a nice, solid back 7. I think just not quite getting the grab there, touching the board, but not locking it in. Yeah,
it was barely contact, was it? It was kind of the Michelangelo. Who is it in the roof of the Sistine Chapel? God's touching the fingers of man, I think. That's how I'd describe that grab. It was contact, but there was definitely no fingernails over the edge there.
No, there was room to see a little bit of sky between the hand and board. for sure.
So a smile there from Momo in what we can see of her mouth. She's allowing it. Oh no, she's covering it right back up. You will not see me smile. So Momo Suzuki kicking us off. First of 3 jumps, and this first round is really a range finder. And interestingly, in the free ski earlier on, we saw the equivalent of a backside 720 in the first 4 jumps, but it gave us a really clear indication from the tidiest ones to the scruffiest ones of what kind of point range we were looking at. And the same trick with different axis, different execution, give us a 20-point range. So it shows you just how far you can move a trick with the execution if you get it right.
Also, I think it's worth mentioning, landed a little bit high on that landing as well. You know, we'll see some of the athletes to come landing sort of in that second line, third line area, which speaks to that amplitude criteria as well.
Well, we had melt freeze conditions overnight, and the jump was rock hard this morning. Everyone side slipping right down to the edge of the fences in training. By the end of the third runs, people dropping halfway down the fences. I think we need to see, we'll see some of the men going from the top right up, straight lining from the top. 56.5. That's pretty low. Tells you everything you need to know about what the judges are doing in terms of where they're leaving themselves room for the scores and what they want to see from execution. Now it's the turn of Amalia Pelchat, the daughter of the legendary Wildcat J.F. Pelchat, also founded Now Bindings, snowboard bindings that have little rubber shims in them, so they pivot off the middle a bit like a skate truck. Go and check them out. They're pretty radical. So Amalia, no shortage of snowboarding DNA in the family line as she drops in.
So coming in regular to this jump, looking like a frontside spin. A frontside 7, a little bit of a shifty there on the end of it. That was
so
stylish.
sick. I wondered, it looked like she was over-rotating a touch, but she actually had the composure and presence of mind. I'd love to know whether that was intentional or the most wonderful improvisation.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, sometimes that can be a little bit of a save, you know? There you see it right there. Kind of shifting her board back. Kind of, you know, getting her a little bit twisted up on the landing, but looked really cool.
Giving a big wave there. I'd love to know what she thinks of that, the sale of the board riders group this morning. Big news in the industry. Quicksilver, Roxy, Ruka, Billabong, Element, DC, that mega group of board riders got sold this morning. So she's got a new boss as of this afternoon. So Amalia Pelchat waiting patiently for that score to roll in. Big conversations. We saw Gaz Vogan on the pre-show.
Too much
He's
pressure.
the man who'll be heading up those conversations. And he was really clear to us. We talked about this a lot in slopestyle, that if there's a conversation going on, if there's a pause in the judging, it's always good for the rider.
Yeah, totally. And I think that they're still trying to set that benchmark there. 2 different directions of spin with the 720. This will set them up for the rest of the event in terms of their range. You see that Now binding sticker there on the board as well. So repping the dad's company.
Oh, 70.5. Okay, couple of, because there was maybe a stability issue just as she landed, but judges definitely popping that up. I think they like that composure. Next in, Ali Hickman out of Australia, just 13 years old. Really good style, incredible frontside game, really strong Australian talent.
So coming here to the jump, switch, I believe. Let's see what she's got here for us with a cab 720. That was pretty solid. She held the grab all the way through that and no bobbles whatsoever in the landing. So switch rotation as well. It'll be interesting to see what the judges do with this one compared to the front 7 we just saw.
Really nicely set up. Just floats through that, like knees, hips, shoulders all lined up perfectly on takeoff. 13 years old as well. Big smile, she's pumped with that. And we're seeing the same thing that we saw earlier on, like consistency. Everyone stomping those landings. They've got their eye in, the jump's running nicely, the speed is there, 75.5.
Oh, it's good.
So Gaz Vogan and the team playing Scrooge in that cabin at the moment. They are not giving away the points easily. Demi Van Greenson super hard working. 26th in slope. So finals in the big air here. Big redemption for her.
Love that helmet as well. I think that's a koala. I was trying to figure out yesterday or
Not
2
a
days ago
wombat?
what that was.
I think it might be the wombat. You know
okay.
that wombat do square pose. Oh, off axis!
A little bit short on that cab 540 there.
I reckon she was playing Monopoly this morning. She just used that get out of jail free card. Got hooked a little bit on the takeoff there.
What a good save, honestly.
She's part of that Shred Masters team from Landgraf in the Netherlands where they've got the snow dome. You could see she's just over the front there. Holds onto it. Landed before the first line though.
Would have been a cool photo though. That was a cool little tweak on that indie grab. Looking right at the cameras in the air.
So she's well known as one of the hardest working riders at Snow World, the indoor dome in Landgraf. And being a Brit myself, I know what it's like. A lot of people will make fun of dome riders, but you've got to think, when it's about laps, domes don't close like mountains do. You can stay there till 10:30 at night, just get lap after lap after lap. Like Mia Brooks is the product of a dome. And that is all you need to know. There's that deep, ingrained style. Okay, next up, Yoo Seung-eun out of South Korea, the 15-year-old. Got some swag, I've got to say. She's been looking pretty dope out on this jump the last couple of days.
Super stylish. Landing some really sick back sevens. I think there's a chance that's what we're going to see right here. So coming in her natural direction with a backside 7. Nice poke on that melon grab. Making it look steezy.
There was echoes of Peter Line about that. She had really strong grab on there. And the melon grab is exactly, we talked about it earlier on with Gaz Vogan. A melon isn't leaning into the spin. It's actually outside the rotation. So she's making that spin harder for herself there. She gets a little poke on the front foot.
Maybe a little bit of a JJ Rayward in there as well. Kiwi rider.
That's
he's
a
known
good
for
call.
that melon poke there. And just putting it down like, yeah, could have been a back 3. Could have been a straight air, you know. Just styling it out.
Send in your answers to the best melon grabs on a postcard. You can't really include skateboarding in it. Tom Penny used to have that crazy flat melon where his board and his bum would be at the same height. It's always a lot more subtle on a snowboard. But Yoo Seung-eun, she's been doing her snowboard history lessons and she's come up with an absolute belter there. I would have gone much higher. I'm going to go straight out there. That's the first score that I've really disagreed with. I'd like to have seen that a bit higher, but there you go.
Maybe the only thing I could have seen potentially was could have gone a little bit deeper into that landing, but I thought that was really solid as well. So we'll see how they score that next time.
Okay, Kiara Mori out of Japan, 16-year-old regular footer, dropping in switch.
Coming into this jump, tucking for speed here. What do we got?
Cab 9!
Nice.
Ooh.
That was the first 900 we've seen. I'm curious to see what the judges are going to do because I'm not sure she really got that grab. We'll see on the replay, but it looked like just a little bit of a touch.
Yeah, you look at a lot of the... there's such a long line of amazing female... Oh, it was pick and mix, wasn't it? It was this kind of thumb and forefinger. Wasn't right on there, but there's such a strong line of Japanese slope and big air riders when you look back. Miyabi Onitsuka used the 9 to devastating effect through the early 2010s, and it's one of those tricks that the Japanese coaches will always focus on. Big spin that's just a simple addition to the backside 720. So Kiara Mori using that one. And interestingly, it's really similar to the tricks that Mari Fukada brought down here last year. And she dominated all of the competitions. Slope style, big air, looked really, really strong.
Yeah, just really solid with that flat rotation, looking in control the whole time. The only criticism would be that grab, just maybe getting it in for a 360 or 180 of that rotation, hand just kind of lingering there. She was actually just off the podium in the slope style a couple days ago, so she'll be feeling pretty hungry for a good result here in this event today. Judges taking their time deliberating on this.
Yeah, they really, really want to get this one right. We've just had confirmation that Vanessa Volopikova won't start. 79.25. So the 900 doing the heavy lifting for Kiara Mori. Big smile from her as she makes her way back for a second jump. She moves into first place just ahead of Ali Hickman. Now, after going missing, MIA as Jossie called it in slopestyle, it's the turn of Momo Maha out of Canada. She comes in as one of the big seeds, and she's certainly got the arsenal of tricks on this big air to do some damage.
So dropping in switch here to this jump, we'll see. Hitting this jump switch is no joke. Standing up the top of that, looking at that lip is quite intimidating. With a switchback 7. Wow, that was really solid. That was some good execution. I think the judges are going to like that one.
So when you look at the 4 directions of flat spin or rotation that the riders have open to them, you have backside and front side, then you have switch front side or cab and switch backside. And this switch backside is the hardest of them all. Turning your back on the jump, it's like writing left-handed while wearing a chip hat and being attacked by seagulls. It is so difficult. Your brain is telling you, you're trying to do that backside spin, but it's all in reverse. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of commitment. So Momo Maha starts off with a big bang here. This is going to be a big score.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely one of the harder landings out there, you know, coming out of that switchback rotation. It is really hard to hold on to that. Really hard not to over-rotate to switchback 9. So props to Momo Maha.
So one of the scariest things I can always imagine doing is a frontside 180 on a jump like this. And the switchback 7 is not only you're taking off switch backside, but you're finishing with that frontside 180, presenting your toe edge to the landing if anything goes wrong.
Yeah, the last second of that trick is terrifying. With an 81.75, that is a solid score. High score of the day so far.
Oh, it means business. Momo is in the driving seat as we speak. So back up to the top, and we do have confirmation. Unfortunately, Vanessa Volopikova will not be dropping today, so she is a DNS. I think she might have injured herself in practice. But now it is the turn of Sam van Lieshout out of the Netherlands, another one of that Shredmasters team from Landgraf. A couple of turns down there, just killing some speed.
Yeah, coming into this jump, natural stance for a frontside 7. Man, those turns, she didn't need those turns coming into that jump there. Ending up on the knuckle,
you could see it. She just, I think they had a lot of training. They had an hour training. She should have known better. Maybe it was nerves, but way too many turns.
Yeah, she knew that one in the air, knew that she was going to come up short. That's one of the worst feelings. I mean, that and an overshoot is a terrible feeling too. But that landing is so long, I don't even know if you have to worry about it.
Yeah, so 17.5, Sam van Lieshout. Definitely. This is the cruel part. It's the 2 jumps from different directions will count towards your score. Sam van Lieshout has no room for error now. That's gone. She's just used that up. Now, Fanny Chies out of Italy, the 18-year-old has been so strong. Really, really impressive so far. And I'm pretty sure she's got a 10 in her bag.
So she's regular footed riding, and whoa, big backside 7, but no grab there. That was
the amplitude is max.
Stuff right there.
It was, wasn't it? That was loose.
Going big though. We just talked about no fear of overshoot, but that was pushing it.
Yep, definitely. She got as close as you can. Huge, beautiful rotation. The amplitude is pinned. The amplitude's redlining. Unfortunately, the execution will be at about 1,000 revs. So, yeah, not much going on there.
Oh.
She gives it a bit of a wave, but I'm really surprised by that because the one thing Fanny has been is super consistent. Okay. Like Lucia, I haven't seen her make many mistakes, so I'm hoping it's not the curse of the commentator.
Yeah, she's been riding really solid. Super impressed with her riding all week long. She'll be looking to improve that, and she's well capable of improving that for sure. Okay,
57.75 puts her into 6th position. At the moment, top spots, Momo Maha, Kiara Mori and Ali Hickman. Now it's the turn of Laura Zavezka, the Czech rider. So only Lucia Georgiale to drop after her. She qualified really, really nicely. Owner of a 1080.
She does have a frontside 1080. So the question is she going to throw it on this first run. Let's see.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh! I was thinking, you could see she'd thrown hard enough, but she stalled it with that grab for so long. I thought she was going to go 9.
Yeah, it could have been a decision midair. Could have felt like it didn't have enough, and then, yeah, it just looked like a 9, unfortunately. Obviously hoping for that extra 180 there, but coming up just a little bit short.
She'd come round to the 7, spotted the landing and knew she needed to speed up. We come back to that conversation about the grabs. You reach out to a tail grab, you're slowing the spin down. It's so easy if you keep your arms in. 23.75, that one is a strike, so pressure is on for Zavezka. Now it's the turn of the 2023 slopestyle junior world champion, Lucia Georgiale. She had a beautiful qualifiers. Can she continue that form into finals?
Coming in her natural stance, so regular footed. We're going to see a frontside spin here with a big frontside 7. That landing is just so solid. No hand touch, maybe a little bit. The grab could have been a bit longer potentially, but man, such a solid rider, and you can see it in that landing.
Yeah, I'm interested. Backside is usually her dominant spin direction. I think she's trying to get this one out of the way, so she's got a couple of pops at the 9 potentially.
So this score could potentially be really important for her strategy in this competition going forward.
She did get the grab in there. Wasn't at the first time of asking, but she had a second go at it. See what she thinks.
Judges again taking their time with this one. Good on the amplitude, though.
It was fantastic. And the landing, it's like she's got a magnet on her board. She just seems to lock it in. Board always facing straight down the hill on both feet. It is, like, you could look it up in the dictionary and it would say Lucia Georgiale. If it said stomp, it would say Lucia Georgiale's frontside 7s. 68.75. So just under 15 points short of Momo Maha. It puts her into 5th position. But we know that she's got her big tricks left, her biggest cards left to play.
Yeah, she really does. I mean, that backside 9, judging from the qualifications, is going to score quite high. So I think that's a pretty good position for her at the moment, getting that weaker spin direction out of the way. And now she's ready for some banger tricks.
Okay, back up to the top, and we're going to get stuck into the men. So this is our start list. We got Kang Dong-hung out of South Korea, Martin Josa, Luca Merame Mantovani, the first of the Frenchmen, Romain Almond. I expected to see him qualifying a little bit higher. The Frenchman has got some big victories, including the European Youth Olympic Games big air gold medal from last season. Ville Almo coming off a foot injury. Cam Melvillais, the first of our Kiwis. Lee Cheon, the reigning world half-pipe champion, not junior, world half-pipe champion. Joshua Robertson Han, the second of our Kiwis, Rocco Jameson, Yuto Miyamura, Cam Spalding, Brooklyn DePriest, Ian Mattioli, and then the reigning slopestyle world champion, Taiga Hasegawa. It is a very heavy-hitting field. All of these men capable of throwing down some big, big tricks. What's your podium? Give me the call now. Come on, I'm putting you on the spot. Earn your money, Rikai.
I mean, I think Taiga Hasegawa, you know, there's a chance that he puts down his first 2 jumps and goes in for another scone. You know, he's the world champion, you know, so.
And for good reason. His technique, his center of gravity, it's all perfect. He makes it look so easy. But everyone has off days. Cam Spalding has been spectacular. Right, first in, Kang Dong-hung, the 16-year-old regular footer out of South Korea, been competing internationally since the age of 13, so nerves shouldn't be an issue for him now.
With a front side 1440, maybe just getting that thing around, pulling on that double grab tail just into the end, but I don't know. With the way that the judges,
yeah. I think it was just a little bit low on amplitude. He had to watch this. He sneaks in over the first line.
Goes for that double grab, though, which would have been impressive, but I think he knew he was coming up a touch short on that rotation and having to bring it in, bring those legs in. So we'll see how the judges score this landing. Maybe docking a little bit for execution.
Well, I think it's frontside 14, technically really strong, But you made a good point. We were chatting about this earlier on before we got on air. 14's like your baseline in the men's, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, that's the benchmark now, which is insane in Junior Worlds. But kind of, again, going back to that airbag generation, these guys have had so many repetitions on these bigger tricks to the point where they don't even look like big rotations for them.
Yeah, especially some of the smaller riders. And somehow I think it comes to power on takeoff as well. 73, so that is an absolutely classic move from the judges. Their baseline trick, the 14, performed relatively well. Maybe that execution issue dragging it down a touch, but it's that mid-range 75 score. Next in, Martin Josa out of Slovakia. So he's put some time in training at the Prime Park since Dubai.
Goofy-footed rider, so coming into this jump, his natural stance. See what he's got for us with his backside. Whoa, 14. Oh, just can't hold on to it. That was a really cool wrap on that 14, though, grabbing nose and using it to accelerate through the rotation.
It was like he had a hippo on his shoulders as he came down. It came in stages, didn't he? He compressed the first bit and you thought, he's got it. And then he just went. You see it.
Got to do more squats. More squats in the gym.
Oh!
Just couldn't hold on to it.
It looked like he needed a sharper edge as well. So Martin Josa, I tell you what, a nose grab, it's another one of those grabs. Not only are you reaching right out, but on a backside spin, as you rotate, your hand's going towards the tail, reaching out of it back for the nose.
Yeah, quite hard to get a hold of that. And then using it in that way, I mean, if you miss the grab on that trick, it could be devastating to that trick.
Yeah, you're a tumble dryer that's been thrown out of a jet plane, aren't you? You're just...
yeah, falling out of the sky, essentially.
In an uncontrollable vortex of spin.
In a tailspin.
Okay, next in, we've got Luca Merame Mantovani. The French really coming to these Junior World Championships with a solid team of snowboarders. So...
here we go. He's coming into this jump with a frontside 1440. Oh, can't hold on to it, though.
And after I'm pretty sure, I've got to go back and check it quickly, but it was nearly a clean sweep of the women's jumps. We only saw 2 falls from the women, and suddenly we've seen 2 out of the first 4 go down in the men's.
So they're locking in that tail grab. Unfortunately, having to let go of it a little bit early, so even if he would have landed that, he might have gotten docked a little bit for sort of that big open up on the last 360.
So... squinting back up the hill, looking for his score. Stony quiet down there for him, isn't it? No one's cheering at this moment. Ooh. If you're up on the hill there, give him a big cheer. Give him a bit of love. 31.5. He needs the energy because there is no margin for error left for Luca Merame Mantovani. Frenchman needs both of the next 2 jumps landed perfectly. Romain Almont. This kid has got some smarts. He's been doing really, really good business on the Europa Cup Tour and the European Youth Olympic Games over the last winter season. Really found his groove and started to land some big, big tricks. 14s and even 18s. Be interesting to see where he goes with this first jump.
So sliding way down that landing, confident in the speed that he's going to have for this jump. Coming in his natural stance for a frontside 1440. That was pretty bold, I'd say.
That's the best trick we've seen so far in the men's. And he knew his speed. Really, really powerful pop and initiation of that spin as well. He really exploded into it. Like you said, he didn't take as much run up, but he's just got that boost and rip off the takeoff.
Yeah, getting that amplitude. Maybe getting that mute grab in there a little bit too before locking in that tail. And just looking really confident on that trick. I think it's worth saying, too, that we haven't seen a rotation under 14 yet.
And it's the Junior World Championships. How many pros are watching this thinking, oh, my career is just getting years shorter by the jump?
It's always scary when you see, 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds just throwing down.
And look at it, he's got the best ski resort logo in the world on his top there, the La Plan bobble hat and sunnies for a 79.5. La Plan, well worth checking out. Although if you're snowboarding, it's one of those resorts with massive flat sections. You need to run up everywhere. Great logo, less great flats. Ville Almo, another kid, very like Romain Olmo out of France. Ville made some great strides, was starting to clean up some big results. Then he broke his foot in Leeuwen, I think, mid-season this year. So he's had 7 months out, just finding his feet again.
For another frontside 14, just looking like a stock trick for everybody out here in this field.
That was so creamy, wasn't it?
It was.
Just drifting through it.
Could have been a 1080.
Let's take another look at it and just check it wasn't. Maybe he's a Jedi and he's just convinced us it was a 14 and actually it was a 10. There's the 7, 10, 14. Snap through that last bit as well. Knew exactly where he was. I don't think, interestingly, it'll be interested. We've just had the text in. You call it out, Rakai. We've had a great message in from Leon Farrell.
Yeah, a message coming in from Lion Farrell. He's claiming that he invented the mute tail. So if anybody's going to call him out on that, I mean, I'm not sure. But that's what he's claiming. Just got the message. Heard it directly from Lion. So that's a bold claim from him.
Lion, I love it. Bold
I love
claim.
it as well.
But this is the thing. All of these guys are making this really easy. 80.75 for Ville Almo for that lovely front 14. But with so many front 14s going down, the judges have got a really easy job because they're comparing apples to apples. So same trick each time. Zephyr Lovelock with a big round of applause, psyching up Cam Melville-Ives. The 17-year-old, we've seen his twin brother in action on skis this morning. Now is the turn of Cam on the snowboard. He was second at the Slopestyle Junior World Champs in Lausanne last year. What can he do this year? Can see the visualization there.
Ooh, nice little 180 pop into this jump. Coming in switch, I'd say we're gonna see his cab spin. That's just been, it's such a strong rotation for him. Looking solid. Ooh, maybe just a little bit under rotated on that. Unable to get that landing as clean as he would like it, I'm sure.
That was uncharacteristic from Cam. He's so clean on those.
He is, yeah. I mean, I don't think I've seen any of his cab 14s so far that, maybe a couple in training that look like that, but unfortunately not quite as good as we know that he can do it. But solid grab all the way through, just maybe coming up a little bit short on that rotation there.
Okay, so he's pretty amped at this stage. And we talked about it, you've got an incredibly high level of riding, but you've got a to a lesser extent, competition experience at an international level down here. So you start competing at this level and I feel like you have to apply a huge amount of leeway for the pressure and weight of expectation that these riders feel when they're representing their country internationally for only the first or second time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that score coming in at a 7.45, which isn't, that's not a terrible score kind of in that benchmark area. I think he can improve it, though, so that's good feedback for Cam.
Oh, that's a fantastic building block. It puts him in third place at the moment, and we're over halfway through the field. So Lee Cheon, another world champion. No juniors in there. This is your half-pipe world champion from Georgia 4.5 months ago. So he's got some big smarts, but he's out of the same draw as Valentino Gazzelli. He is one of those snowboarding savants who can cross between half-pipe, big air, and slopestyle with ease. Dropping in now.
Coming in switch to this jump, we've seen a lot of cab triples. Yeah, there it is. Cab triple 14. Wow. Arms just right by his side on the landing there.
I tell you what, Cam Melville-Ives is really pleased that he went before Lee Cheon, because if he'd had to go after him, the judges would have had a clear illustration of what he was missing. That was a perfect cab 14.
That was a really nice cab 14. Obviously a different access, though, than Cam's. Cam's being flat. Obviously, sometimes, that can be argued to be a little bit more difficult as well on the flat. But the triple, just so spectacular to watch. Whoa, look at that. Shooting his shot here at the Junior World Championships. He's
Love
stoked.
that claim. Come on, more claims out there. What's your favorite claim ever?
Oh, my favorite claim ever? Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I think my favorite claim of all time might be the Andy Irons.
It is. It's the best, isn't it? It was the
it's
first
a great
one.
Andy Iron. Yeah.
Shotgun out of the barrel at Chopo. It's so good. Pump the shotgun. Reload, baby. I'm ready for more. Lee Shae-eun with a good bow and arrow there, though. He's hunting out the win, and it's definitely not beyond him today. Lee Shae-eun first in qualies for the slope style just a week ago. He's ridden a lot of World Cups as well. So we talked about nerves. It's not going to be the case for him. You can see how relaxed he is. 81.5. And the springboard is set and loaded for Lee Shae-eun going into the second and third jumps. As we come up to Joshua Robertson Hahn, the Aussie, 18 years old. Interesting talent. He's got dub 14 and a trip back 14. And he's got 2 world champs under his belt already. Junior world champs, I should say.
There you see him visualizing a little bit at the top. Be such a good tool for these riders before they drop in, getting himself settled. So regular footed rider, he's coming into this jump, his natural stance. Going for a frontside spin. What's it going to be? That frontside 14 tail, just spotting that landing and putting it down, falling out of the sky like it's nothing and just landing gear.
It had it all, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Lord.
One thing I will say is I wonder what the judges are going to do with all these tail grabs, because we've seen a lot of tail grabs on this trick. I think, and then a lot of mute tails as well.
Well, what it means is it just loads up the rest of the grabs.
Yeah.
Like, when everyone, it's like
Wrong way around.
Jossie talked about it in slopestyle for a little bit. Like the whole point of this, these are creative, subjective sports. The whole point is to stand out, be yourself, like express yourself while you're out there. If you're doing the same frontside tail 14 as everyone else, then it's easy for them to just put you in the mush of the mid-70s to, well, 83.75. There I am.
They liked that amplitude, I think. I think that it must have been what it was, because he landed deep in the landing, and it didn't look out of control at all.
Yeah, there was no instability, was there? Okay, next up, Rocco Jameson. His dad, Aaron Jameson, one of the early Burton pros in New Zealand. The family DNA of style has been passed down from AJ to Rocco. He is an absolute joy to watch on a snowboard. Let's see what he's got for his first jump.
Regular footed rider, he has some serious experience on this jump. I've seen some serious battles out of this guy. Coming in with that backside 14. Wow, that takeoff is amazing. Just gets loaded and then brings that grab up a little bit later, but making it look really stylish. There's that different grab from like a Weddle or a tail that we're seeing. That indie grab can make it so much harder on these bigger rotations. Almost like a little shifty action at the beginning of that rotation.
And he grabbed right up by his front foot and gave the back foot a little bit of a bone. So,
I mean, yeah, when you show ownership on a trick like that and you got that style, judges love to see that. So excited to see the score come in.
yeah, something a little bit different. An eclectic trick selection, an eclectic grab selection. Standing out from the judges. And you've got to say, he's got a frontside 18. Frontside will probably be his more dominant choice, so he's got his less, I don't know if there is a dominant spin for him, but certainly he's done something different for his first jump. So at the moment scores, we've got an 83.75 for Joshua Robertson Hahn for that last frontside 14. Listen to the boys going off for him over there, getting some atmosphere building up. Lee Shae-eun is in second on 81.5. Ville Almo on an 80.75. How's my Finnish? That was pretty good, wasn't it?
That was pretty good.
And then Romain Almond, how's my French? 79.5. Campbell Millville Ives, 74.5. Kang Hoon on a 73. And Luca Merame Mantovani, 31.5. Martin Josa on a 22.75. So 9th rider down, Rocco, out of a 14-rider final. It is stacked, and we have got 3 runs. Love this. The pause means they're thinking about it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing for Rocco. I would say they're definitely talking about maybe those top two spots there on that trick.
Oh, it's got to be for me. 79.5. So he goes in level with Romain Almond. So equal 4th there between the Frenchman and Rocco Jameson. Look at it. Lee Shae-eun, Cam Melville Ives.
Got some support from the homies down there. Rides with those guys a lot.
Okay, Yuto Miyamura. If you can call it that, he's kind of Taiga Hasegawa's understudy. I think they're actually, from what I've seen over the course of the last week, I think they're almost on a par. but Yuto has been able to develop in the shadow of Tiger. Tiger's taken all of that spotlight, so he's just been quietly doing his work behind the scenes.
Yeah, because Tiger's really the one that blew up over in Sausfe, just putting down all these amazing tricks that nobody had ever seen before. But this guy is no joke as well, coming in his natural stance with a backside 16, making that thing look so easy. Oh my God, that could have been a 12. That's what I wish my backside 5 looked like.
So just let's take a moment, remind ourselves that this is the Junior World Championships. This is the 10th rider to drop. We've seen 9 14s and 1 16 now. Look at that, on his toe edge, not a hand near the snow.
Nothing out of place on that trick. Got the sort of Stale Sandbeck style gloves. What are those called? The
lobster grab.
Yeah, the lobster grabs.
Rumor has it that they make a glove like that that's allergic to snow. So even if you try, you can't actually put your hands down. I think that's what he used there.
Yeah, somebody check those for anti-snow magnets, because not even close to the snow. I think we need to check that out.
There it is. He swung for the fences. It's a home run straight out of the gate for Yuto Miyamura. 89 points, a score to chase, and the pressure is on now as we get to the business end of first runs. Cameron Spalding, the 18-year-old, qualified for slopestyle in second, finished in second place. We know he's got a 16 under his belt. That I think you're getting to that point. Watching what Yuto's just done, I don't think you can't throttle back now.
You got to throw a hammer right off the bat if you want to compete with those top guys. With Yuto, who just put one down, and not even in the 90s yet, with a 16 that was textbook.
Okay, sleeves are rolled up. He's getting his hands dirty today.
Backside 16, I think. Wow, just...
There's a little bit of Jeremy Jones about that as well. Really powerful stance. Should have a big smile on that one. It was beautiful in the air. The landing was perfect. Really good amplitude. I want to take a look at the grab.
You know, I think he had to pull out and go 12. I think that was supposed to be a 16, but just got a little hung up on the takeoff there.
And it was a heel cup grab as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so not what he wanted. No, he wants to rewind on that. He wants another shot at it. He'll get another shot, and just getting those first run jitters out.
And I'd love to see it at this level, because I always look at the most experienced riders generally are the ones who can forget about that, move on to run 2 and run 3, because you've got no mistakes now. You have to land the next 2 if you want that position. So the heat is on. It's on the street, as the song goes. Brooklyn DePriest out of the USA. This kid's he's a mercurial talent, isn't he, Rikai?
Yeah, he's up and coming. Got great air awareness. He had that insane switchback triple 12 on that last jump in slopestyle. But here he comes. He's a regular-footed rider coming in switch again. I think we're going to see that switchback rotation again, really strong on the switchback. And yes, we do, with a switchback triple 1440. That was the trick that he was meant to do in slopestyle, and he's somehow able to pull out of and go 12, which just goes to show you how good his air awareness is.
Cast your mind back 20 minutes as well, and switch backside rotation was exactly what put Momo Maha into the top spot in the women's. So Brooklyn DePriest applying the same strategy to the men's snowboarding here. We haven't seen much switch. Have we seen any switch backside spins? I don't think we have. It's the first switchback spin.
Definitely the first switchback triple 14 we've seen, which that landing is so hard. I think a lot of people would rather do a switchback 16 than a switchback 14.
Okay, judges, I think they're going to take their sweet time with this one.
Yeah, waiting the score.
Yes, you are. Waiting the score.
Man, yeah, that standing down there sometimes can be quite nerve-wracking,
But look how calm he is.
He does look quite calm. He knows what he just did.
Well, you can almost see his pulse in his neck, can't you? Let's have a look. He looks like it's around 65 beats per minute at the moment. That means his resting heartbeat when he wakes up is probably around 32. kind of clinically dead.
Is the score going to come on that screen?
Yes, it is.
It will. It'll show up. It's coming.
Just means they're having a deep and meaningful conversation about you. So Brooklyn DePriest, I think he was fifth or I think he was sixth in the slopestyle. But as you said, he did it with an incredible bit of improvisation, taking a switchback side triple 14 and somehow getting it into 12.
Yeah, again, that video part trick. You know, you don't see that in events really, hardly ever. But just and holding the grab all the way through it too. It definitely
making me nervous.
Was really impressive.
I did say that he's nervous. So he got first in the US National Champs in slopestyle, second in the NORAM Big Air Junior World Championships 2023. He got 13th in slope. I was pretty sure he'd gone a bit higher than that. Thought I'd seen him on the podium.
Yeah, spends a lot of time ripping around Colorado.
83.25, second place, just ahead of Lee Cheon and just behind Joshua Robertson Hahn. Joshua Robertson Hahn with that immaculate frontside 14 tail. Okay.
Wow, that was a solid score, putting him into third place there.
Okay, Ian Mattioli. We've seen Fanny Chies and Flora Tabanelli, two of the very impressive Italians. As you said earlier, the airbag generation, they've taken advantage of Mottolino Mountain in Livigno's facilities, which includes a massive landing bag. And this generation have come out swinging here at the Junior World Championships.
And here he comes into the jump, facing his natural direction with a frontside 14, double grab on that, locking that tail in and just accelerating it all the way into the landing. It's kind of an amazing rotation. Been watching it the last couple days. You know, starts a little slow, speeds up through it, and then just opens up and puts his feet down. No issues. You can see that mute to tail and just really solid. Almost touching his hand there, but not sure if he actually did touch the snow.
Okay, so Ian Mattioli. I feel like the judges have got a lot of front 14s that they can run through here, so they're going to be able to place this one pretty easily.
Yeah, definitely. Again, that mute to tail on the front 14. So Lion Farrell again coming in with another text message. First person to do front 14 mute to tail at Locks Open. So he has a time and a place when it happened, when it went down.
Okay. Oh, he's not meaning that I'm the first person to do it at the Locks Open. 81.75 for Ian Mattioli there. So he moves in. Log jam, beautiful log jam happening there between all the way down to 7th place with Rocco Jameson. Taiga Hasegawa now ready to drop in. Number 1 seed, he made short work of qualifiers. It took him 1 jump to qualify in first, dropping in switch.
Let's see what he's going to open up with here. With a cab 16. Putting it down so solid, claiming there. No, I think...
A little shake of the head, though. There's something he doesn't like in that. Let's take a look at it. I don't know why he's shaking his head. Look, he's grabbed for about 1080 through the middle of that.
Wow.
Cab 16.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, what's up?
All right, yeah, but he's just waiting the score so he can go get his coffee. You know?
Yeah, I reckon 90 points is up in that realm, Tiger. It's so easy for him, it seems.
Yeah, that didn't look tough at all. Just grabbed all the way through, solid landing, you know.
I've been hanging around up on the top of that jump for the last couple of days, just watching people from the background, and you always think that it's a God-given talent for someone like Tiger, when in actual fact he stuck around longer than anyone, and he rode so hard. And when he finished doing all of the tech tricks, I watched him do 4 laps for style tricks. It was the biggest treat. Dropped in, did a huge frontside nose bone 3. Then he dropped in switch and did the exact mirror image. Like, he did a better frontside 3 nose bone than most pros I know switch.
Yeah, that's incredible. And just there's that score at 92. Wow. Right off the bat, he is going to be sitting comfortable going into these next 2 jumps.
Set the cruise control.
And we know he did. I
He's
mean, he
on
did
the
a
freeway
front.
to the title now.
We know that he did a frontside 16-2 in qualifiers, so
Yeah,
here's your two directions.
Oh my goodness. Okay, straight back up. No messing, no pauses. We're going into the women's second runs. Momo Suzuki out of Japan, getting ready to rumble. Young Japanese, just 15 years old, regular footer. Reset your brains. We had a lot of consistency in these first runs. So the women have got to find those second jumps to boost their scores up. Front seven. She's been watching Tiger and found some inspiration there. Very little movement in her. She set the spin and just held on.
Held onto that grab, too, all the way through, looking really solid. Could have maybe touched the tail of her board a little bit on landing, but, you know, I don't know if the judges are really going to dock that. We'll see.
Points if you know why that grab is called the lean grab.
Lean grab.
Do you know why?
I feel like I should, and I definitely would like an explanation.
Legendary skater Neil Blender invented that grab, and it's Neil backwards.
Wow. There you go.
L-I-E-N. So the lean grab from Neil Blender. Go and check out some of his artwork. Go and check out some of his incredible parts. He was so funny. He used to mess around in some of the old Pal Peralta videos doing skits, and then the Santa Cruz videos, I think, as well. Okay, Momo Suzuki. Sorry, I've digressed away from the Junior World Champs. Momo Suzuki waiting for a score. She's currently got a 56.5. And I'm pretty sure she went back 7 first hit, didn't she? So,
yeah, opting for a different direction to spin here. Missing the grab on the first run, but no issues with the grab here on the second one. I think we got a little bit distracted with just how beautiful that lean grab was.
Really nice. 67.25. The judges leaving themselves plenty of daylight above the 720s at the moment in the women's. So next in, Amalia Pelchat. She is sat currently in 5th position. I'd say realistically, though, that's 4th position because we've got Momo Suzuki's score up at the top there, and that is the combination. So she's got a 70.5. Really good, strong score to build on. Let's see where she goes with this second one. Pretty sure it was a back 7 we saw from her first run.
Getting amped up. Maybe some breathing techniques there. Regular footed rider coming in, giving herself a high 5 on the way in. Good hype up there. So coming in her natural stance with a double wildcat. Oh, just a little bit too much airtime, I think. Having to open up so early, but that was the first double that we've seen today.
Props to her. She got caught up on that left-hand side of the landing as well, which can ragdoll you around. Oh, gutted for her. Double wildcat. That's what her dad's crew, the Wildcats, were named after. So giving a little bit of homage to the Whistler crew. Unfortunately, couldn't stick it. So interesting, though, because double Wildcat, it's essentially a 720, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I'm not really sure. It would have been awesome to see her land that one just to sort of see where the judges put it. But it is technically a 720 rotation. I will say, though, a bit higher consequence. It can also sort of, you know, coming off that tail without a rotation, you can go pretty deep into the landing without expecting it.
Okay, next to drop, Ali Hickman, the 13-year-old out of Australia, sitting in a very strong 3rd place after those first jump scores. She got a 75.5. Where's she going to take this one?
With a switchback 540.
So the cab 7 and a switchback 5. That's a really nice combo to kick off. She's got 2 switch tricks, which is it's going to pay dividends for her. We're just not seeing those. So many back 7s.
Oh, you know what? I think that was actually that was a back 5.
Back 5.
There.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But still really solid, locking in that stalefish grab. Stoked on that. She'll be, yeah, that was pretty stylish.
I was going to say, switchback 5 and cab 7. That's some good work. You've got a lot of things that you could go to on your 3rd jump then if you wanted to. So that really big first jump, the cab 7, is definitely her big score. She's now leaning into those tricks that she's left less comfortable with, it feels like. So hopefully with that one under her belt, that'll give her the confidence and a good combination score to build onto that 3rd and final jump.
And it always has to feel good to put down 2 different directions of spin. It gives you some breathing room going into that 3rd jump.
So still a phenomenal level of consistency, 52.75. Adds on to that 75.5, 128.25. Ali Hickman moves into the lead, 5 points ahead of Momo Suzuki. Next up, Demi van Griensven out of the Netherlands. I think it is a wombat. Pretty sure. Definitely got that feel to it. And I'm pretty sure all of this crew were over in Perisher before they came down here. So it would make sense that it was some form of Australian marsupial.
Definitely. So regular-footed rider coming into this jump. Natural stance. Looking for that front side 7, but just coming up a touch short.
Oh, and she'll be disappointed with that one.
Whoa, almost catching the toes there at the bottom there.
She dropped the first jump and the second, so unfortunately, she's now one of those dead sailors who's just along in these finals for the ride. It does mean that she can go for full bore, whatever she wants. Just felt like she got that grab, but she didn't keep her head locked into the rotation. She sort of sat there really square and didn't carry on the rotation.
Yeah,
so
just spotted that landing maybe for a touch too long, maybe knowing that she's coming up a little bit short there.
No, you're right. It's the koala. Definitely a koala. So 58.75. She's got 2 different rotations on the board, but she needs to tidy them up. Maybe coming back to that front side 7 next hit. Back up at the top, and it's Yoo Seung-eun out of Korea. She's got that lovely drippy steez, taking it really, really mellow.
So stylish. Had that back 7 with the melon grab last run, so probably looking to switch it up here. Coming in her natural stance, regular footed rider with a front side double underflip. Wow, that was so solid. Claiming before she was even halfway down the landing. That's how stoked she was on that. That was awesome.
She bounced off her toes then when she claimed as well. I took a breath. I thought, oh no, claim before a fall. The ultimate ignominy, but she made it through.
Wow, that was really impressive.
Beautiful rotation as well. Not that so often they become just a sort of 90-degree rotation, 2 flips, 90. She actually had that lovely spin.
Kind of looked like a front double 10. Yeah, a little wink there. Right on. Her coach, Will Rivera, will be at the top. Super stoked. That was rad to see. Kind of reminded me of a front double 10 in pipe almost, you know, kind of that dippy rotation.
Really sick. 2 epic jumps now from Yoo Seung-eun. She's got a 68 to build on. Massive smile on her face. And she got a Pengi sticker as well. 88.5. The judges love it as well. And that is a big, big jump score. So a lot of room to tidy up potentially that first jump. She can go back to that now.
Yeah, I think she can definitely tidy up that back 7 as well. Take it a little bit deeper into the landing, a little bit more into that sweet spot.
Okay, Kiara Mori out of Japan. She's on a 79.25. I'm pretty sure it was cab 9 first hit.
Yeah, so this time coming in for a front side 1080.
Oh,
Some
a couple of hands down, but
yeah,
it was just a touch.
Just a touch. No weight on those hands, but this will be sort of interesting to see with the judges docking so heavy for hand touches in qualifiers.
Stepping up so hard here.
But that takeoff was so solid. Locking that grab in, and then, yeah, a couple hands down, but really no weight on those hands.
No.
So just a little high five with the snow, you know?
If we got a 20-point range for this trick, I reckon it's somewhere between 60 and 65, 80 and 85. And I reckon I do think they're going to put that down towards the bottom of the scale there. If she can get a 60, high 60s out of it, I think she'll be doing well.
Yeah, just that pairing of progression with execution is going to be really apparent in the score here. You know, they love to see the progression, but they've made it clear that they're not going to reward it without that execution.
Ooh, okay.
But deliberating, though, so we'll see.
Well, the progression can be a lever there to pull it up. So the cab 9 and a 10. It's a front 10, wasn't it?
It was a front 10.
So cab 9 and front 10 feel... I mean, no matter what, she's got that good, solid cab 9 score there, a 79.25. It's not going to take much to really push that up.
So, yeah, kind of either way, if she does have another shot at this frontside 1080, she's in a really good position.
Yep. If this is her big gun that she's pulling out, yeah, then she can wait on it. But the judges, it's good times for her right now.
But a cab 9 and a front 10, that is a solid combination.
Longest score weight you've ever seen.
Yeah, this is taking a little while.
This is nowhere near it for me. I've seen a 4.5 minute at the Olympics. 70.75 after, I reckon, about 103 seconds for Kiara Mori.
Yeah. So she will be looking to improve that, though, because if she cleans that up, that'll be a really high score.
Huge. Now, Momo Maha out of Canada. She had the switch backside 720 first hit, and that put her at the top of the standing. So above everyone, she has the best multiplier here. All she needs is to back it up with something big now, and she has one hand on the Junior World Championship.
So dropping in her natural stance this time with a frontside double. Just couldn't quite put it down.
Doesn't matter.
That's a butt check.
Yeah, that's the sight though. Exactly as we just saw for Kiara Mori, this is a sight. She knows that's what she wants to do. That's where she's going. So she's got another jump. If she can put this down, and it's so close.
Really, really close. She just couldn't quite get back over the toes. Got to get that core engaged and land really solid. But she's seen the trick. She knows what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, and I guarantee the next time she'll be hungry to land that one.
Yep. You know what Sam Weston up at the top, the Canadian coach, is going to say to her?
What's he going to say?
Send it! Okay. Actually, we can do it in Sam's voice because we've got a microphone on him. I'll see if we can find him. Send it! Is what he's going to say to her. Okay, next in, it is Sam van Lieshout. One of the few riders to fall on that first run. She is under the pump. She has to get this jump down if she wants to stay as a contender in these finals.
Goofy-footed coming into this jump. See, still a few checks. Let's see. This time, again, short. A little bit short.
That's what forced her into that over-rotation. If she'd have just let the board run. Let it go big.
Yeah, you got to be super confident coming into this jump. Trust that long landing, that it'll hold you up. Not quite getting that grab. She knew kind of off the takeoff again on that front 7 that knuckle was coming.
What's interesting, what we could discuss here is the fact that we talked about the airbag generation. I mentioned the snow dome generation. What the snow dome generation don't get is big booters to hit. If you grow up as an airbag generation, you're getting used to 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds of hang time. If you're a snow dome kid, you're barely getting a second. Like, you become rail specialists, you can get those tricks down, but hitting big jumps like this, it takes you a while to develop that skill of the internal speedometer, which I think is one of the most precious and hard-fought skills in skiing and snowboarding.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, too, just when you spend time away from that air time in those big jumps, it's so easy to lose that comfortability. You know, we see Taiga Hasegawa, again, going back to how comfortable he is on these jumps. It's because he spends so much time in the air.
So you see the 2 stars there. It's because Sam spanned the same direction in each of those jumps, so the lower score gets flicked. But for Sam, it's disappointment because she's going to use a 46.75 and something else. Fanny Chies out of Italy dropping now. So powerful. Didn't get the jump she wanted on the first round. She's sat on a 57.75. Is she going to try and tidy that up now?
Coming in front side. For a huge frontside 10. I have no idea how she just landed that.
I think that
was incredible.
That's one of the biggest front 10s I've ever seen.
Wow, she would have been in the air. I would have been very, very scared. But she handled that like a champ. No issues whatsoever. Oh, my God.
It's so confusing because she takes off with the kind of rotation that you'd expect for a 7, but because she's gone so big, she's got room for a 10. Let go of the grab really early. I tell you what, Fanny may not win the title here, but the kind of riding that she's shown at these Junior Worlds is the kind of riding that all she's got to do is fill in the blanks, and she's going to go straight to the top of World Cup podiums. She's got the hardest things to do, go massive and commit. She's got that.
Yeah, she committed full on there. Able to keep her composure in the air, going so deep on a really slowly rotated 1080. I was really impressed by that.
You let go pretty early, so I think the execution characteristic, the execution factor is going to go down a little bit, but certainly amplitude and I think progression as well has to come into that when you're going that big. Whew, that was a long way down. I reckon she was fourth line.
Yeah,
at
I think
least
somewhere near there. Honestly, I didn't know what was going to happen in the air there. I was like, oh my God, going huge.
I want to see that replay again.
I do too.
So massive. Oh my goodness. So Fanny Chies, just as Flora Tabanelli did in the women's free ski, just absolutely launching. I wonder what they're feeding them up in the Dolomites at the moment. The Italians are coming out swinging.
Super strong.
I tell you what, there's one of the most legendary figures from Italian snowboarding turned up at the top. Giacomo Crata. He's been coaching the Swiss pipe team. 87.25. Whatever they thought of the execution, the amplitude trumped it all. Absolutely smashed it. Up into third place for Fanny Chies. She's got another jump to tidy up the 57.75 she got from her back seven as well. So that's going to be interesting. Next in, we have Laura Zavezka. She, one of the few riders to crash on the first run. So she needs this one. She can't make a mistake.
Coming in here to the jump with a frontside 900.
Squeaked it round. It was light on the amplitude, but she got it round.
A little bit short on that landing. Maybe a touch scrubbed on the takeoff a little early.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of your power away, unfortunately.
So what Rakai's talking about there is just that takeoff. If the board's not facing directly off the jump, if you go early and your board washes as you take off, then the judges will steal a couple of points for that. So, she knows it as well.
Mom, love you.
Mum, we love you. There you go. She's going to smoke a cigar with Winston Churchill. Obviously not. Cigars are disgusting. Right, so Laura Zavezka out of the Czech Republic needs a decent score here because she had 23.75. She gets an 80.5 there. So that first run score will disappear. It was the same rotation, and that means she's got a big score. Suddenly she's back in the mix.
She is in the hunt for sure.
Now, Lucia Georgiale out of New Zealand, slopestyle junior world champion. She went for, I believe, her weaker direction of spin first go with the front side. So now she's got 2 hits at backside, her favored rotation.
Here we go. Strong takeoff. Good solid back seven out of Lucia right there.
Wow, this is going to be fascinating. So Lucia on a 68.75 for the front seven. Back seven was really tidy.
It was really tidy. Not much you can take away from there on the execution side of things.
Let's see. Solid mute grab. And she's over the line. It's like board's pointing down the hill. She's bolts both feet. Like, there's nothing wrong with the technique. Could have gone maybe a tiny bit more on the amplitude.
Yeah, potentially.
But she's done everything the judges have asked for. So I reckon if we've got that 68, then something mid-70s here.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, and she's still got a step-up trick as well after that back seven, as we saw in qualifications.
It's getting really, really tight. So we've got Yu Seung-eun on a 156.5 in the top spot. Kiara Mori on 150 flat. Fanny Chies Payantanida on a 145. Lucia Georgiale gets another 68, moves into fourth place with 136.75. All of them, they're one jump away from each other there because Lucia's in the 60s. If she can pull down an 80, that's going to be big, really, really big. Okay, back up to the top with the men, and it's Kang Dong-hoon out of South Korea. Wind's just stepped up a tiny bit there. You can see the flags at the top. The jump itself is a little more protected, but Kang looking like he's dropping in switch.
Yeah, no hesitation there. Not even thinking about the wind, doesn't look like. So coming in for a cab spin. Looks like a cab triple 12. Unfortunately, unable to put it down. there. Maybe going a little bit deeper than he was expecting on that cab triple. Let's see that again. Maybe a little bit of a funky takeoff there. Maybe a touch early, kind of sitting back.
Well, you know, we were talking about Yu Seong-eun's cab 9 double underflip. She had all that rotation. To me, that was the classic 90-degree flip. It's kind of, you lose that lovely axis of spin. It's a little more basic, and you get away. I feel like you can get away with that at juniors, but once you start moving up 18, 19, 20 and into the big leagues, you won't get away with that. You need to mix both axes of rotation. So Kang Dong-hoon, second score coming in. And he's got a 23.5 for that. So now it's the turn of Martin Josa out of Slovakia. Another of the riders who started with a fall, so he needs to reset and blast into this one.
Yeah, here we go. Here's that backside rotation with the nose grab. Backside 14, landing it, but maybe just a little short on that rotation again.
Tiny bit, but I think the fact that he's reached out for that nose grab, and it's working, I think the judges will give him a little bit of leeway on the under rotation, just because he's gone for the nose there.
Yeah, it's a very unique back 14, which again we were talking about a little while ago. A lot of people were doing that back 14 Weddle, but he's grabbing nose, switching it up, wrapping it in a really interesting way. So curious to see how the judges are going to place him with that.
I like the fact that he's gone down to that and he's gone for a good second bash at it. He's managed to put it in the past. He's got it down, and this is going to refresh him, reset him for that third jump. So,
yeah, it takes a little bit of the pressure off knowing that he's put down something solid.
It's mildly nerve-wracking that he appears to just be making snowballs down at the bottom.
Yeah, who's that for, I wonder?
He's preparing for a war, isn't he?
Maybe he's like, those commentators, man, they don't know what they're talking about. They need a snowball.
74.75, absolutely standard, right down the middle for a landed trick from the judges for Martin Josa of Slovakia. Now, Luca Merame Mantovani, he's currently in last place. Another rider that fell at the start of first runs, so a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
it all starts now.
Had a fall on a frontside 14 last run, but I'm guessing he's going to give that one another rip here. So goofy footed coming in his natural direction. There's that tail grab and landing that front 14, but a little bit of a tail wheelie out there. And that judges will look at that as a sort of a control issue on landing there.
Okay, so let's see what we get out of this one. That front 14. What's he got? Yeah, exactly. The judges are really... We talked about this a lot in the first run. The judges saw so many frontside 14s. Gets a 63 for it. So, rebate on that one. Oh, no, he didn't take the frontside... Oh, yeah, he did take the frontside 14 on the first one. So, that's 63. Is the one that he'll build on with that third and final score. I don't think it's quite what he'd want. Now it's the turn of Romain Almont. This kid has been making waves on the Europa Cup scene. So you have FIS events are a national level event. Then you have the Europa Cups, the NORAMs, the Asia Cups, and the Australia-New Zealand Cups. Those are the continental events. And Roman has been killing those. He's getting ready to step up to the international level, and this could be his swan song at the Junior World Championships.
Here we go, coming in for a backside triple 14. Oh, maybe just a little bit off of the access that he wanted, having to front flip out of that a little bit.
Yeah, it turned into a barrel roll that last 360, didn't it?
Yeah, which can work, but it's hard to finish those and hard to put them down clean.
As we just saw. So it gets lovely cork on that. And then there, it just starts to warp out a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately having to sit that one down there, but he'll have another go at it, though.
Yep. He's got one decent score on the board there, I think. It's a 79.5, but there is such a logjam. You got Rocco Jameson on 79.5, Roman Almo on 79.5, Ville Almo on 80.75, Lee Cheon on 81.5, Ian Mattioli on 81.75, Brooklyn DePriest on 83.25, Joshua Robertson Han on 83.75, so 21.5 there for Roman Almo. As you said, he's going to take another bite of that cherry. Now, Ville Almo, the Finn, looks so strong. After a kind of missed generation, there haven't been too many Finnish riders after that incredible era where there were just Finnish riders popping up every single season in the ilk of Willi Jaliluoma, Joni Malmi, Jussi Oksanen. Let's see if this kid's...
Whoa,
on the strength of that, he's got it.
Really pretty there with the double grab melon to tail. I believe, though, that might have only been a 1080 there. So not the biggest rotation, but getting the double grab, making it look stylish, and, you know, bit of a crowd pleaser there. So let's watch again with a, just a backside 1080, but really clean, looking solid. A little hop out of that landing as well there. So
it's not the... I think that's great strategy. I think the coach has said to him, go and put your second run down. You can put something easy down. Let's get you 2 scores on the board, and then you know you can really send it for jump 3. I mean, this is probably going to be pretty low, sort of 50s maybe, but...
Then again, though, you know, something to keep in mind, too, that these guys are really at the beginnings of their careers in the sport. You know, you don't know, potentially there's, you know, criteria for national teams and other things that might come into play where they just want to put something solid down, show that they got a good showing, tick that box. But that score coming in, he'll 55.75. He'll be definitely excited to step it up.
And it keeps him psychologically, it keeps him in the top spot for now. He knows he's doing enough and he's still got one jump to push. So Cam Melville-Ives, the 17-year-old Wanaka kid, he has got what it takes. It's just a case of putting it down. Got, I think, marked pretty low on that last one, 74.5 for the Cab 14.
Yeah, judges potentially a little bit harsh on that, but we know that Cambo has what it takes.
Looks like he's going frontside this time.
It does. He's dropping in his natural stance, so switching it up from the last run. We'll see what he's got. Coming in frontside for a frontside 14. Opening up a touch early and having to put the landing gear down. Maybe not the cleanest landing, but still cab 14 and a frontside 14. 2 different directions of 14. That's a solid showing right there.
What's interesting, he's got tiny execution issues on both of them. Like, he hasn't got them up into the 80s where he wants them to be. I think he's going to get marked down more on this one. It feels, right now, he's almost certainly going to go back and look at the frontside 14 again, it feels like.
Yeah, you can see him giving that little hand gesture there. He's not feeling great about that one, but definitely seen him land both those tricks really solid, so excited to see his next run. Gonna be a solid one, I'm sure.
Okay, where are the judges going on this? We know that they don't like those hands on the snow. They've punished a lot of people for that over the course of this contest. Looks casual about it, though.
Yeah, he does. He's not worried. Like, I'm about to put it down next round. No problems.
Yeah, there's no bow and arrow celebration for the commentators. I'm coming for you. Tonight we hunt commentator. Okay, quick roundup of where we're at so far as we come into the start of second jumps. It is a 3-jump final here at the Junior World Championship Snowboard Finals. Ville Almo of Finland has got an 80.75 and a 55.75 for a total of 136.5. Camille Velives with the 74.5 and a 55. I think that's quite a good score considering the hands. It makes puts him into second place on a 129.5 as we get ready now for Lee Sheon, halfpipe world champion. Crosses codes though effortlessly, can ride slope and big air as he's already proved today with an 81.5 on his first jump. He looked pretty assured, didn't he?
He did. I'm curious to see what this next jump's going to be, because what we saw in qualifiers was that cap triple 14 as well. So giving a little, man, he's got some moves out there.
The showman is in the house. He's kissing the sky, baby.
Let's see what he's got. Regular footed rider coming in for a frontside 16, but can't put it down. Sitting back there on that landing. But that's the first 16 that we've seen out of him so far.
He had to do a lot of work. He really, really pulled at it, didn't he? It was proper rip.
Yeah, here we go. Yep. Man, that was really close. Maybe could have used a little bit more amplitude, a little bit more airtime on that, because he was spinning pretty fast, but landing a little bit close to that first line on the landing there.
Feels like he's, and that grab as well, that sort of seat belt, pushing the front foot down in that rotation, it really feels like it really helps lessen the swing weight and speed up the rotation. 32 for that second jump, so all on jump 3 for Lee Sheon. Korean always pretty vocal up there. Joshua Robertson Hahn, I think this is the young Australian. That crew making plenty of noise down at the bottom for each other as well. A proper little gang of wild dogs. You see them blatting around the hill together, terrorizing the mountain. They're just so good.
Always throwing down. When you got a group of friends like that to ride around with, who are, they're all pushing each other, I'm sure, just makes for an amazing show like today.
Yep. So Joshua Robertson Hahn on an 83.75, almost tic-tacking to build speed up top there. He wants it all.
Here we go for a backside 1080, but that was a pretty cool grab. I think he wanted more though. I don't know if he got the takeoff that he wanted, but able to hold it at 10.
But why not do exactly what Ville Almo's done? You kind of know that Tiger's taking the top spot, but there's going to be a fight for the spots after that, and it might come down to the pressure. So put a 10 down for your second jump, get your iron, use it as a training jump, get a good score on the board, and then you go into third jump.
Level 1.
Yeah, definitely. Taiga Hasegawa out here kind of looking like Max Verstappen out there on an F1 racetrack.
It's unreal, isn't it? He's got another gear, it feels like. Everyone else is kind of stuck in fifth while he's just coasting along in sixth. It's a majestic thing to watch. You feel like world champions stepping back into juniors is a bit like candy from a baby, isn't it? 55, so almost a carbon copy of what we've just seen from Ville Almo and Camille Velives. These guys getting good second jump scores, but room to build. Now, Rocco Jameson, the second of our Kiwis. He was in the conversation of those top spots, very, very close, within touching distance on a 79.5. Sets up his track and bounces through those ruts, ready to take off.
Here he comes, coming for that frontside rotation that we were talking about. Frontside 14, so solid.
That was beautiful.
Putting down 2 solid 14s. The execution there, to me, flawless. I mean,
give him another 3 points for that reverse carve pop out at the bottom as well. This is absolutely mint. Look at that frontside grab. Spots the landing, knows exactly where he is. So excited about that one. So we talked about it, frontside being his dominant spin. He's got that score on the board, the 79.5, with his less favoured spin direction from the first jump. So now he gets to set about this. He's got 2 14s in there, and he can really, we might see an 18 attempt third jump.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I also know he has a couple different 16s to choose from, so I'm very, very curious to see what his strategy is going to be going into this last jump.
There was talk that they actually flattened the takeoff down a little bit when they reshaped the jump here, so it's not quite as poppy. Maybe won't suit an 18. Seen a couple of people trying to force them through, so maybe It'll be a 16. 82.52, very respectable scores for Rocco Jameson. 162 in total, puts him almost 30 points clear, well 25 points clear, I should say, at the top of the standings. Midway through jump 2, he's ahead of Joshua Robertson Hahn on 138.75 and Ville Almo on 136.5. But the heavy hitters are yet to drop. They're in reverse order of qualification, and Yuto Miyamura is 100% in that category. This boy has some serious tricks, and he's come here for some hardware. Look at him. That is focus, Rakai.
Serious focus. He's about to do something terribly awesome. So here he comes. He's a regular-footed rider, so natural stance here.
He's got an 89 in the bag.
Here we go. Front side. 16. Ooh, a little bit washy on that landing.
Down. He is human.
He is human.
It's like Ivan Drago. He's just perfect specimen up there. We haven't seen him make a mistake until now. I mean, it was still beautiful, but it was visibly a hand in the snow. Must have had some weight on it because it gets ripped away from him.
To be honest, it looked a little bit slow off the takeoff. I think he had to kind of chase it around there to the very end and could have affected that execution on the landing.
So, 0 signs of what he's feeling there. Absolutely perfect poker face from Yuto Miyamura. Maybe a little disappointed. We did see Camel Villaves with that 14, the front 14 and 2 handstands. Still picked up a 55 for that. But it's going to be close. You've got Rocco Jameson now holding an 82.5. If this is anywhere kind of mid-70s and down, then Yuto slots in behind Rocco, that'll be a big one for Rocco. Psychologically, going into the third jumps, he'll be thinking he's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. I think too, I mean, it wasn't that far off, that trick. It was just such a little bobble there.
So heavy.
But docking pretty heavily there, coming in at a 64.5 with a 16. So he'll be looking to clean that up next round.
So he moves into second place behind Rocco Jameson. Now it's the turn of Cameron Spalding. That 57.75 from the first jump. He's got to put it behind him. He needs both of these jumps now if he's going to get up to that podium area where he spends so much of his time. World Cup level rider. But as we've seen already, there's just no distinction between the elite level, World Championships, World Cups, even Olympics, and what we're seeing here at the Junior World Championships. 18-year-old Canadian Cam Spalding dropping in.
All right, coming into this jump, natural stance.
Oh! And it is not his day. He did so well to save that.
Oh my gosh. I mean, but again, see, getting hung up on that takeoff. That's sort of what happened to him before as well. Not sure if that takeoff softening up a little bit, but definitely got really heavy on those toes and did really well to save that though, because that could have been, that would have been a little bit scary as a rider.
Oh, it's that ride to the beat. If there's no beat, don't ride. And that's 2 takeoffs now. Like, it's just not his day. It's as simple as that. How he managed to save that with the back 7. Can you imagine the noises that were being made up at the start with everyone watching that and not knowing if who's going to make it?
For me, being in the air, I would have been making noises.
I'm so disappointed. Cameron Spalding, we know what he's capable of, and he just hasn't been able to showcase it today. Tell you what it does mean. He's almost certainly going to throw down some kind of wonderfully creative, stylish third jump.
Yeah, I'll definitely give him the freedom to sort of play around on this last jump, or maybe he'll want redemption. Maybe he'll, maybe he's thinking, I got that. I just need to put it down, Get those last 2 out of my head and throw one down for himself.
Okay, Cam Spalding on the 57.5 from his first run score. Back up at the top, and it's Brooklyn DePriest. We saw that majestic switch backside 14 on his first run, and it cranked the scores for him, 83.25. So he's got 1 building block in place. He only needs to add 1 more, and he's got 2 jumps left to do it. So just relaxing himself.
Getting himself amped up, this time dropping his natural stance So either going to be, I think it's going to be a backside spin here, setting himself up. You saw him too, actually getting a little bit hung up on that takeoff. A little bit. And he caught up in that slush.
And again, we see that rotation just, he almost fell out of the side of it, didn't he? He finds himself just swinging around. He's almost like a satellite orbiting the planet rather than being at the center of the rotation.
But yeah, there's that backside 14. Looking to back that switchback 14 up with a back 14, but maybe just getting a little bit bucked on takeoff and putting him on not the desirable access.
It's one of my favorite things to see in snowboarding is when someone can do the mirror image trick. There's the pipe rider Chase Josie used to have a pipe run, double crippler, double Michael Chuck, frontside double 10, switch double crippler, switch double Michael Chuck. It was so beautiful. Like, it was a mirror image top and bottom. So Brooklyn DePriest, all the pressure is on his last jump. Now it's the turn of Ian Mattioli, 81.75 from his first jump, that beautiful frontside 14. What has he got here?
So regular footed rider, and he is going to be coming in switch to this jump, looking to knock that other direction of spin that he needs out of here with a cab 14. That was a mirror image of the front 14.
Yeah, two very, very tidy spins there. He's made that look deceptively easy.
That got me a little bit confused there. I was like, did he do the same trick again? But no, that was switch, and he's just got that much control that he can make that mute to tail grab exactly the same. I mean, that was pretty much, yeah, a mirror image of his last jump. So it'll be interesting to see where the judge put him on this.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm so impressed with this generation of Italian riders. Mattioli just looking so solid and on top of that. So it's actually exactly the same combination that we've seen from Cam Melville-Ives, but with the execution that Cam would have wanted to see. At the moment, Cam Melville-Ives sat in fifth, so you've got to think Ian Mattioli is going to go up a little bit. At the moment, Rocco Jameson in first with a 162. You've got Yuto Miyamura in second with 153.5. Joshua Robertson Hahn, 138.75. So a big gap there. In Mattioli with a 75.25. He slots in. We're getting a beautiful log jam up at the top. The top four, Yuto Miyamura, Ian Mattioli, and Rocco Jameson in first. Taiga Hasegawa still to drop.
But I have a feeling that Taiga's about to be like a bowling ball into this top three here. We'll see what he's got. Regular footed rider.
The human taser. His riding is electrifying. You just cannot take your eyes off it.
Frontside 16.
Oh! And he's made a mistake. Two Japanese riders, so mechanical, so much of the time. You just never see a mistake. Both of them dropping hands on this run.
I have a feeling they're going to dock pretty hard there on the execution. We saw a big cloud of snow there on the landing.
But then it's also, this is the temptation if you're a judge, is to judge the rider against the standards. You know, oh, his face was nearly in, wasn't it? I was about to say you judge the rider against what they're capable of, not the field. And with Taiga, that could be, especially at this level, that could be an issue. But I think deservedly so. That needs to come down. He's definitely, there's a bit of snow on the front of his goggles there.
Almost tasting that blue Powerade on the landing there.
That is what they use, by the way.
It is. I've tasted it many times on slimes.
Okay, so Taiga Hasegawa, still all smiles. This man is quite literally superhuman when it comes to landing big rotations. So, do you know what I've talked about his frontside, his switch frontside 3. Do you know what my favourite trick of his is?
What would that be?
He posts it constantly on Insta, switch method.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
Oh, it's so hard. And he's literally, I think it's as good, if not better, than his straight method. So.
Maybe.
Waiting on this one. I wonder if the judges are having a bit of a conversation about it.
It's pretty crazy. Even on that frontside 16 with that airtime that he had, you can see how the 18 works for Taiga Hasegawa. You could see that if he wanted to, he could bust out a frontside 18 here.
I actually thought it was going to go 18. If he'd have stayed tucked up, if he'd have held the grab in a bit longer, at that speed of rotation, you could do it. 54.75. So Taiga Hasegawa, poised to pounce dangerously in 4th position, but the pressure is on. Right now, in the driving seat, Rocco Jameson is on 162, Ian Mattioli on 157, Yuto Miyamura on 153.5, Tiger Hasegawa on 146.75. Very, very tight in the men's. Oh.
Wow, this is going to be an intense last jump here. Rocco Jameson, awesome to see him holding down that top spot. He works so hard, and he is constantly putting in work on these jumps, this jump particularly.
And I'm really pleased to see. I know that he's been really working hard on the 18, and the temptation would be to go there and make a statement. But I think both he and AJ, Zephyr, like all of that Platinum crew that ride together would have been discussing this endlessly, and it would have been that they're smarter than I am, I'm sure, when it comes to the strategy. And if I've seen that the judges are prioritizing execution, then they scale it back, do what you do best, do it really well. And they've put themselves in a fantastic 3rd run position there.
They have, yeah. I mean, it's going to be very little pressure coming into that, but that strategy, that conversation, I'm sure there's already been a couple mind changes there.
Yeah, you second guess it all the way. The temptation to rip into that 18. Thing is, now he can do that. But we cross across to the women now, where we have Momo Suzuki up at the top. So let's take a quick look at these standings. Momo currently in the middle of the pack, 6th position. So
last time putting down, I believe, that front 7, locking in that grab. I wonder if she's going to go back to the backside 7.
Yeah, that's
here.
her lower score, so that's where she can tidy up.
Looks like she will be going for the tail on a back 9.
Yes!
Wow.
Back 9 tail grab.
Unexpected there. I did not see that coming.
And any signs that this jump's slowing down? Gone. She's one of the lighter, smaller riders. She should be struggling for amplitude. She cleared it beautifully. That was lovely.
Obviously has really good fundamentals on those backside takeoffs. Let's see if she locked that tail grab. I'm not sure if she really got a handle on it, but back 9, she's
Did she slide it down to tailfish, do you think?
Maybe. It could have been a little bit of a slide there. But really impressed with that backside 9.
Well, it qualified Lucia Georgiale in 1st place. So in terms of precedent set with the judges, I think we know where that's going. That backside 9, she's got a 56.5 on the back 7, so she's going to ditch that. I feel like that 9's got to break into the 70s. It's going to be a really strong score for her. And I think if the consistency we've seen through here, we can have a look. We've seen 4 slip jumps so far out of 21. No, 25 jumps. So, hold on. So we're scratching 81.5. It's huge.
The judge is loving that back 9.
So Momo Suzuki moves into 3rd place. 148.75. All smiles up there.
Wow, she'll be pleased with that.
Now it's the turn of Amalia Pelchat. We saw the backside, the backside 7, yeah, 1st jump, and then we saw the double wildcat. Is she going to go back to that double wildcat?
I think there's a chance we might see that again because she didn't quite put it down. Just a little bit of a, tail wheelie, ended up kind of sliding out of it. I hope we see it again. It looked awesome.
Okay, big deep breath there to settle herself. Don't need to pull so hard. You can really take your time on this.
Here we go. What has she got? Dropping in.
It's the double wildcat. She's right up the middle.
Yep, and there it is. 1, 2, slowing it down. And
Holds
holding on to it.
It was tight, wasn't it? She was patient. She let it come round, but it's still very, very close.
Yeah, that time it was maybe a little bit slow. A little bit slow on that one.
I can't wait to see this landing. So here we go.
Straight back over the top. Yeah, putting it down, maybe a little bit wild on that landing, but man, that was fun to watch.
Full respect to that one. Really, really good. Roller coaster ride with Billy Pelchat, JF's daughter. So, just waiting for the scores to come in. She's got that nervous smile, hasn't she? Been doing a lot of Continental Cups, NORAMs. Got some decent results there. At the moment, she's sat down in 8th position with the 70.5 and just an 18.25, so could get bumped right up here. I mean, the 7s we've seen are scoring high 60s, so...
Yeah, I'm not sure whether they'll score that higher than a 7 or not. Be yeah, interesting to see.
I don't think it will.
You don't think it will?
No. 65, there we go. Exactly, like right in that 720 range. So 135.5 puts Billy Pelchat in 6th position. Next in, Ali Hickman, the 13-year-old, who kicked us off with a beautiful cab 720. Went for the backside 5 last time, so she got that down. She's currently sat... She's got that 52.75, and I don't think she can up the score on the back 5. So she's dropping in switch. Yeah, no, it's natural. It's forwards again. Oh, no, that's the switch backside 3. Okay, so it was back 5, which means it was front 7 first go.
Yeah, I was just
Wasn't
having a look
cab
at her stickers there. Yeah, so that would have been a switchback 3. That jump would be absolutely terrifying to do a switchback 360 on.
We talked about the switchback 7 of Momo Maha. When you're committed into a big spin, you're not seeing the landing. You don't know it's going wrong until the last minute. A back 3, you're not rotating that quickly. You feel and see everything.
Yeah, the switchback 3, I mean, you can spot the landing the whole time, and you're coming into that switch landing with way too much time to think about it.
You can see it forever. If it's going wrong, you know. Ali Hickman not bettering that backside 5 score. So she will stick with the 52.75. The 13-year-old Australian, though, one of the brightest young talents coming out of Australia. They've got so much talent right now. Tess Cody, Valentino Gazzelli. It's really, really impressive. Next up, Demi van Griensven out of the Netherlands. She's had 2 scratch jumps, unfortunately, so she's got a chance here to make a statement and leave everyone... Oh, look at her. She's psyched.
She is amping. Very, very excited to see what she's got in store for us here. Opting to do that front 7. Just couldn't quite put it down today. She really wanted to show that she had that trick. She landed it in qualifiers, and unfortunately just not happening for her today on this jump.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. If I was her coach, I would add some forward lean. It looks like she's got a full rail setup on her bindings. When she dropped in and I looked at it, her high backs have got hardly any forward lean on them. And she's like, you think how much pressure you want to put through your heels on a takeoff like that, and she's almost straight-legged and not getting the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, me being a half-pipe guy, I always advocate for some forward lean.
I always get another one every year. So this year it was a koala.
Confirmation you're right. It was the koala, not the wombat. I was wrong. You were right, and that is why I sing this song. Yu Seong-un, one of my new favourite snowboarders. She has been absolutely killing this. She had that back 7 melon with a beautiful poke on it, and then cab 99, but with that lovely axis really spinning through the whole rotation. Now, just diving in chin first into this 3rd and final jump.
Coming in for a backside spin with a backside 1080. That was so close. That looked so good in the air. Wow, really just giving us a preview for what's to come out of her in the future. Definitely going to be a name to look out for. And she is our current leader at the moment.
It is so exciting, isn't it? I am really thoroughly enjoying watching this because the future of women's snowboarding is in safe hands with this crew.
I will say that access kind of looked like it wanted to go 12. Kind of looked like, not enough airtime there to go 12, but it kind of looked like potentially just, the 12 is not far away, I would say.
Okay, so no score on that one, but she retains the top spot, at least for now. She has that 156.5 total. Kiara Mori, one of the riders who could have a say in this, though. She's got a 79.25 from her first jump and a 70.75 from the second, a frontside 10. So if she can tidy up this front 10, she'll be in business.
Yeah, here we go. She's looking at that frontside spin again. Going for it. Couldn't clean it up. Putting both hands down and eventually getting a little bit G'd out on that landing. Man, it looked so good in the air. Fortunately, couldn't put it down.
Just a little bit less speed. She sent that a lot deeper, it felt like last time. Comes around 7, lets go of the grab, and just a little bit short.
Probably needed to hold on to that grab a little bit longer to keep that rotation. But looking for that spot and unfortunately not able to put it down cleanly.
So Kiara Mori in second place at the moment, but Fanny Chies, definitely one rider. Lucia Georgiale, definitely one rider. And the third rider who could really overpower that top 3 is Momo Maha. She got that beautiful switchback 7 on her first jump. Where's she going?
Getting grounded up there. Getting ready to go. So she is dropping her natural stance again. Coming into this jump. Plenty of speed, looks like. For a frontside double underflip. Wow, putting it down.
Really, really nice.
Yeah, last time, you know, getting a look at it, couldn't quite keep the landing gear under her, but that time looking composed and riding away solid.
So rad. Like a really... Interestingly, at the men's, at that sharp end of the men's progression, they're all just on the 14 train, couple on the 16 train. You look down the list of tricks that we've seen here, and it's been so eclectic. So many, like, different styles, different women pulling this sport in different directions. It's such a lovely, healthy place for snowboarding to be in. Big score for Momo Maha. 81.75 added to that most recent 87.25. 169 for the young Canadian. That is a big move. She goes into first place, almost 13 points clear of Yu Seung-eun. Now, Sam van Lieshout. She is looking one of those riders, like fellow countrywoman. Demi van Grievenson, she's dropped both of her previous tricks, so
Just going to do a straight air there.
yeah, letting that one go. I'd like to have seen a big suitcase method on that. Looked like she knew she was coming up short from takeoff, though. She has struggled with the speed for this.
Yeah, struggling coming up short all day today. So, unfortunately, you know, can't feel good on the knees doing that 3 times in a row.
Oh, I don't know. She's 17. Those knees will be absolutely fine for another 10 years. So 13 points. Unfortunate day. Not the one that Sam van Lieshout was hoping for, but a great experience nonetheless. Now, Fanny Chies out of Italy, the 18-year-old, has an 87.25 for that last jump. And the first jump was the 57.75, which I think was the back 7.
I believe so. So she'll be looking to get rid of that score and put in a stronger score here on this jump.
Yeah, it was that gigantic frontside 1080 that she had to fight round second jump, but it's the backside spin she can tidy up now. Oh, gone deep again, but just no grab.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to really up that score.
She could. You wanted to grab it for her. You could touch it. She had the amplitude. She had beautiful execution on the takeoff. She's got that timing just right.
But consistently showing that she's not afraid to go deep into the landing on this jump. Just right off the takeoff, just knowing that it wasn't quite right and having to let go of that grab and sort of squirrel out of it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, look at her face. Looked like she'd eaten them. She tasted sour milk then, the face she made when she saw the replay. So, no change. Fanny Chies stays in 5th position. So, Laura Zavezka is the penultimate rider to drop. So, Momo Maha guaranteed a spot on the podium.
So, had that front 9 before, so going to have to spin a different direction. Looking like it's going to be a backside spin here. Going for that backside 5, landing a little bit heel heavy there.
Holds on to it, but as we've seen consistently through qualifying and with that backside spin from Ali Hickman. Ali Hickman, I'm just going to check this off. She got a 52.75. We saw Ava Beer do 2 540s in qualifying. You cannot get a 5 over 60 points. So Laura Zavezka, I think she's one of those riders who's got a really strong front nine in one direction, but then lacking in the other direction. So qualies goes well for her, but can't find the depth once you get to finals. Great podium celebration, though.
Still dancing out there.
Okay, so score's going to come in for Laura. I reckon highest she can go is 140. She might get a 60 out of that 5, but it's not as clean as some of the 5s we've seen. So I can't see her getting into the top 5 as it stands at the moment. Fanny Chies on 145 in 5th place. And we've got Momo Suzuki in 4th. Kiara Mori in 3rd is the bubble for a 150, but 131.25. Laura Zavezka stays in 8th position. Now, this is jeopardy. Lucia Georgiale currently on an 68.75 is her highest score. We know she's got a back 9. Can she use it now?
Here we go, coming in, facing forward. Yeah, looks like she's gearing up for that backside spin.
Oh, it was a 10. Over-rotated to her back. Let's hope she's all right there. That was a big hit.
Yeah, that would not have felt good. Oh, no. Some people running over. Just taking off with a lot of power there. That did not look very nice.
Oh, Lucia, that was huge. The fascinating part of that is that she's had so much confidence, and it's reinforced her sending it each time. That back 9 that she tried in qualifying just ghosted it, came in so easily. So this is a sport filled with confidence. You come into a final like this, and the most valuable commodity alongside your repertoire of tricks is confidence. Because that's, if you're playing pinball, confidence is the multiplier that's going to let you land all of those tricks, commit to them. And Lucia's come in here, committed hard, and then it's just come unstuck slightly. You've got to feel for her there. Not the way she would have wanted to end her Junior World Championships campaign, but she does have the slopestyle title under her belt.
She does, and she's really put on a great showing all week long, looking super solid. They're just, a slight mistake off the takeoff, giving a little bit too much power. I think that would have been the backside 9 attempt, but just right off the takeoff, knowing immediately that she gave it a little bit too much, and it's really hard to come out of a rotation once you've done that.
Yeah, she'd lost it. You watch, and I often compare it to high diving or trampolining because you've got the same kind of hang time. And when you see those athletes, when they lose their position in the air, there's not an awful, you become a passenger. You're not driving that trick. You're just a passenger through it. And that's what happened to Lucia there. As soon as we have any update on Lucia's condition, we will bring it to you. But right now we can wrap up all of those results and take a look at the overall standings after the women's 3 jumps. It was a fantastic finals, level phenomenally high. Saw a really eclectic mix of tricks too. So much style and so much technicality, all taking it in different directions. Demi van Grierson and Sam van Lieshout, the 2 Dutchies down at the bottom there in 10th and 11th, didn't manage to get 2 tricks down, so 59.5 and 59 respectively. Jumps into the first of the combination tricks. It's the 13-year-old Australian, so impressive. You expect to see her following in the footsteps of the likes of Tora Bright and Tess Cody. It's Ali Hickman on 128.25. Then Laura Zavezka, the Czech rider who went just before Lucia Georgiale on 131.25. Then Ville Pelchat with a 135.5, Lucia Georgiale on 136.75, and then in the top 5, Fanny Chies on 145. A big frontside 1080 from her was spectacular. Suzuki Momo in 4th place. We can chuck down to the finish line now, actually, before I finish that off, and have a quick chat with our winner, Momo Maha. Let's see how she's feeling.
All right, here with Momo, Junior World Champion, Snowboard big air. How does it feel?
It feels great. So happy I landed that run.
Awesome, and you had a good day out here today on the big air?
I did have a really good day. It was really fun. Stressful, but really fun.
Awesome, and what was your magic moment? What was your favourite trick?
landed at front line.
Sick.
Yeah.
You're coming off a really strong season. Team Roy in first place, Europa Cup Premium first place. What does it mean for you to take the win here today?
I don't know, it feels really good, I guess. Yeah, I'm just happy I landed both my runs.
Also, and I understand we'll be seeing you next in action at the Winter Games Obsidian starting next weekend.
Yeah.
What do you think about the new format?
I really like it. I like that it's mixed with the ski and snowboard. So I'm really excited for it. Looking forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so Momo Maha taking out the top spot ahead of, I think, both mine and Rakai's favourite new rider, Yu Seung-un. She came out swinging so much style.
So much style, looking really solid out there. I mean, coming off of that, you know, she wasn't able to put a run down in slopestyle in the finals, so wanting some redemption, and then she really got some out there today. Was sitting in the top spot for a long time. Momo Maha, you know, landing that double and knocking her off that top position, but either way, you know, she'll be really happy with that.
Okay, we're going up to the top now, and we have Kang Dong-hun out of South Korea. He's put down a backside 14 twice. Well, he's tried to put it down. He hasn't managed to yet, so unfortunately, he's not going to be in the conversation. Actually, got a half-decent run at it on his first go, so he has got something he could build on. Be interesting to see where he takes this, though.
Coming in, switch to this jump, looking like he's setting himself up for a cab spin with that cab triple 12 again, but coming up a little bit short.
Sack the wax tech. He squeezed all the speed he could out of that run in, and it wasn't enough. So Kang Dong-hun had his chance. It was so close.
Yeah, coming up just a touch short there.
How scary is that last dip on the triple? Like, you're coming down towards the landing and your head's going under your board again. So no score on jump 3, so it will stand at a 96.5. Kang Dong-hun in 11th position. Look at that power stance. It's a big one, isn't it? Martin Josa, he's had the 2 attempts at the backside 14s, and he did manage to get the second jump down. So he's got a backside 14 nose grab. He's going to need either front side or switch backside. And it looks like he's going to switch back.
I think it's going to be front side here.
Roast beef!
That was pretty. I think that was just 1080.
Yeah, it was a 10.
But looking really stylish and gonna be, you know, a solid score there. You know, put it down. It was landed. Good execution and a solid grab. So
it's one of the things that I really like about this big air format. It examines everyone's repertoire thoroughly, because you know you've got to spin clockwise, anti-clockwise, and he's got that backside 14 nose grab. And then the front, he's only confident with the 10. He's put a beautiful grab into it. The execution's going to be through the roof, but the technicality potentially a little bit, or the difficulty rather, a little bit marked down. So Martin Josa
awaiting that score there.
58.5, 133.25 for Martin. Puts him in 7th place for now. A couple of riders with some big hits ready to go, including this man, Luca Merame Montavani, currently in 13th place. He's got a 63 off that second jump. Let's see where he takes this.
So coming into this jump, facing his natural direction, see what it's going to be.
Actually pumping for speed over the ruts up at the top. Oh, he's gone long and flat.
I wonder if he was looking for a little bit more and just lost it a little bit on the takeoff there.
Yeah, maybe rushed it. There was no pop. He had plenty of speed, but no pop. Oh, and he drives himself down. He's disappointed with that one.
Just got in a little bit of a weird access and ended up having to chase it, but couldn't quite get his feet down.
Well, Gaz talked about it, didn't he? Amplitude. You want to see people popping up and then plopping down in the middle of the sweet spot, not going flat and long into the car park. So, ça c'est pas bien, as they say in French.
Yeah, definitely some frustration down there.
I hope my grammar's terrible, so forgive me if you speak fluent French. You're here. Romain Almond out of La Plante. We talked about that wonderful graphic on the front of his board. At the moment, the Frenchman is sat in 11th position, and he's got a 79.5 from that first jump. It was a beautiful frontside 14. So now he needs to add to that. Most certainly going to use a backside jump.
Yeah, here he goes, setting up for that backside rotation. It's going to be a backside 14 again, a little bit front flippy out of there, a little barrel rolly.
And you thought it might be a takeoff issue. I think the fact that he's done that 2 times in a row shows you that the trick isn't quite comp ready.
Yeah, potentially. You can see on that first 2, he comes out of that second one and just has to really barrel roll his way out of it. And it's really, really hard to land that.
Yeah, I almost want to see. You see a lot of these riders visualizing, and when they cork, they throw their head to the side. So a 22 for that last jump score. That will stand. It's better than the second jump score. So a 101.5 for Romain Almo, slope specialist. But he did get that youth European Olympic gold medal back in March. Ville Almo out of Finland. Young Finn put a 1080 down on his second jump. He's got a solid score there now. He's in 6th place. If he can build on that 10, if he's got something a little bit bigger, it could be really, really strong for the Finn.
Here we go, dropping in his natural stance. He is regular footed, so that's going to be a backside 1260, kind of having to wiggle his way out of that one.
Oh, them reverts. You want to be able to ride down that landing switch.
That's tough. I think the judges probably will almost score that like a fall.
Yeah, he's... I went on his Insta and had a look at what he's up to, and he's actually pretty handy at cliff jumping. Oh, yeah, look at that.
And then reverting around.
Yeah, he was straight-legged on his heels. He needed to, didn't he? He couldn't go into that full ball.
Don't want to go into the fence there. That is not a fun fall.
So Ville Almo hasn't had much time on his board since he injured himself 7 months ago. So the fact that he made finals and banked a couple of big scores means that he can be really, really proud of himself. Finishes off in 6th place at the moment. So next in, Cam Melville Ives taking knocks from the legendary New Zealand pipe rider, Mitch Brown. Now getting ready to drop. He's had a go at a cab 14 and a frontside 14. At the moment, the cab 14 is the strongest on a 74.5, so potentially going to take another bite of the front side. Yep, look at that. Confirmation there from his visualization. He's going to rip into that front side 14.
All right, come on, Cambo. Popping a big ollie, looking confident into this jump, getting amped up. Let's see how we go here. With a front side 14, looking way more solid on that one. That'll be a much stronger score. Nice one, Cam.
What was fascinating, he was patient on the takeoff. He waited right until the lip before he really tucked into that. And that, I think that was the mistake definitely on the previous frontside spin. He'd just gone a little bit early.
And he just holds onto that grab so long. No hands down on that landing. Looking strong out there. Right on, holding that board up.
He's paying the bills.
Looks like a custom board there, the black top sheet.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's gone for the Sith as well.
Yeah, instead of the Smith, you know. Yeah, I think his coach is definitely a Sith Lord, for sure.
100%. Mitch Brown, you saw him up there. The coach ninja. He's got some eye contact there. Look at that.
I think we were onto something. He's like, don't talk about it.
Mind control. Cam Melville Ives is the best. And we've actually got AI in the house today who can tell us what the score will be. Let's see what they say.
I think it's going to be a high score. The judges know what they're looking for.
So, well, they're keen on that.
Yeah, still waiting to score.
The score will be below 90.
Well, that's totally unhelpful, isn't it?
This is unhelpful. You know, it's almost like a magic
Anyone
8
could
ball,
say that,
you know?
yeah.
It's so vague.
Are you a magic 8 ball or are you AI?
I am AI.
Prove it to us.
You are an idiot.
I'll take that.
Oh, the score's in 69.75. It is an improvement for Cam Melville Ives. He moves up into 5th place ahead of Joshua Robertson-Han, just behind Tiger Hasegawa as Lee Chae-un gets ready to drop. Lee Chae-un on an 81.5 from his first jump score. But he's going to need something big here to back it up. If he gets it, though, he'll 100% be in the mix. Anything above an 80-pointer here. Was he going for that? I think it was a cab 16, was it?
Frontside 16.
Frontside 16 last time. And you said it reminded you of that front 10 in the pipe. Beautiful style.
Here we go. Going for it again, ripping on that grab.
Oh! How did he hold on to that? Oh, he had no business.
Oh, man. Wow, what are the judges going to do? You know, where's that line where the landing ends?
Did he have it under control?
I mean, he's super stoked about that. You know, I don't know. It's this is really on the judges now.
See, I call that the final trick. It was invented by Shaun White, where you claim for the judges at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Holding on to it. Look at those ruts down there. You can see them a little bit.
Imagine being a mortal like us and charging into those ruts off balance on your heel edge. Oh, my goodness. That makes my pelvic floor ache.
Oh, yeah. There's been some carnage down there.
I think the judges are going to give it to him. I think he might get docked a bit of execution, but we've seen... It's interesting. What I find really fascinating, we saw it for Fanny Chies in the women's. That front 10 went massive, and I mean, it wasn't that pretty in the air, but she was huge. She had it under control, and she did stick the landing. She got the score out of it. The judges weren't as miserly as we've seen them. I reckon this is going to be a deep, deep conversation.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while for them to make a decision about this. We're getting another look at it here. Opening up and putting that landing down, but wow, that could have been a little deadly right there. into those rollers, heavy heels on the going switch.
You know the judges' processing units are now in overdrive. There'll be smoke pouring out of them. They've got to make the right decision here. It's a very grey area, I feel. That he rode out of it. Obviously, as he hit the flat bottom, the compression did for him, but he wasn't under control.
Not completely controlled on that landing there.
There's 15, 20 meters where he's not in control. He hasn't settled from the trick, which suggests it's still part of the trick. It's execution at that point. Ooh, it's a really tough one.
But then again, you know, the judges did come under some questions during qualifications about those 16s and that execution, so I'm sure that'll be playing in their head as well.
That's our answer, a 66. So Lee Chae-un total 147.5, and a clear message from the judges there that execution does count. You called it. That was a really good shout, Rakai. Okay, Joshua Robertson-Han currently in 7th on a 138.75. With it all to do, still got a very strong first drop score from that frontside 14 that was nearly perfect. He got an 83.75, so his second run score is irrelevant at this stage. If he can lay it down now, he's in with a shot at the podium, even the lead.
And he is getting amped up here. You can see him bouncing as he comes into this takeoff. Taking off backside.
Oh, he's gone long and flat.
Ooh, wow. That was supposed to be, I think, a triple 14, and he managed to open up and stop that. Again, that's sort of that airbag training, I'm sure. You know, being able to pull out of a rotation that's that big and still put your feet down. You know, that's usually where you see pretty big falls there.
It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, he knows exactly where he is. He can open up, slow it down. But we talked about the weight of expectation, the pressure on these third jumps when you're in this clinch situation. And Joshua Robertson-Han was there and wasn't able to deliver, snatched at that takeoff, almost too amped. You've got to settle yourself up there. So current leader, Rocco Jameson, is on 162 combined score from jumps 1 and 2, and he has the luxury of going absolutely berserk on this third and final hit. We know he's got the tricks. It's just a question of whether he can lay it down when it counts. Rocco Jameson dropping in.
Coming in, looking like he's going for a frontside rotation. That's going to be another frontside 14.
Which is what we saw on his second hit. I think he wanted the 18 there.
I think so. I think he just didn't quite get the power that he needed off that takeoff.
He wouldn't have gone for that. He wouldn't have gone for a repeat knowingly, because the 82.5 was his biggest score from the frontside 14. He's gone for that frontside grab again.
Just.
Do you think it's going to improve it?
18.
Oh, you heard him.
All good.
I wanted the 18.
Yeah. He definitely wanted that. You know, I think it was pretty similar to the last one. I'm not sure what they'll score it, but it was still a really solid 14.
Oh, it's beautiful. But what's interesting, the snowboarders got to go first in slopestyle, slightly icier course, and they got more purchase on it. The free skiers got to go first this morning, and now the snowboarders have got that slushier takeoff. We saw it undo Cam Spalding, definitely. And I think for an 18, you need to be able to dig that edge in and really drive off it. And potentially, when it gets a little bit slushy, that kick has been facing into the sun for a couple of hours now. It's just not on the cards.
Yeah, and on those bigger rotations, that takeoff is everything. You know, if you don't get that power off it right off the bat, then you know you kind of gotta abort mission a little bit.
It's kind of like the snow's really good. It's nice.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
it doesn't better the
Perfect. Thank you.
the frontside 14, jump 3 doesn't better the first jump. So Rocco Jameson will stay in first position at the moment. There is so much heat coming down on him from the likes of Yuto Miyamura, Taiga Hasegawa. Cam Spalding is out of the conversation, but Brooklyn DePriest is still very much in there as well, as is Ian Mattioli in second place. But first up, the first man that Rocco will be watching carefully is this man, Yuto Miyamura. He's got that 89 from his first hit, that backside 16.
So regular-footed rider, he's going to be coming in his natural stance. It's so hard to read what he's thinking. He's just so calm up there before he drops in. Looking like a front side. Oh, going for the 18. That was the first one we've seen today.
Shoot for the moon, kid.
Wow, that was very close. But unfortunately, landing pretty tail heavy in the back seat. That would have been incredible.
What a treat. This is a collector's item. Unfortunately, didn't quite land it, but look at that, he had room to spare. We've just talked about the fact that Rocco Jameson struggled with purchase on that takeoff, and Yuto Miyamura just time to burn on the end of that 18. He'll scratch it, so that's one big name down. Rocco Jameson still holding the lead ahead of Ian Mattioli, Lee Sheeun and Taiga Hasegawa. Next in, Cameron Spalding. He's down at the bottom of the standings with a 57.75 from his first jump. He'll need something. Even if he gets a pure 100, he can make it into second, but he can't unseat Rocco Jameson at this stage.
Interesting to see what he's going to decide here. Is he going to want redemption on these tricks that he's been struggling with, or is he just going to float it out for us here?
Oof. I'd like to see something really stylish.
I would like to see that as well.
Okay, so dropping in forwards.
Opting for something different here with the front 14.
He made that look so lazy, didn't he?
So lazy. We'll have to watch that again.
Just reclining into it. Yeah, I'll just bash out a 14.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of tired of the backside spin. No, you just do a front side spin.
Let's count them. 1, 7, 10, 14.
Yeah. Wow, so much style on that landing.
I remember the first time I saw a 10. I can remember and I thought a 10 was pretty ugly back then. People charging into them. Then you see a 14 and it's like, oh my goodness, that's so hectic. And 14's like that, just looking so casual.
Look like a 720. It just, you know, cruising in, gonna put it down. Good show for us here.
I get the feeling that Cam Spalding came to these Junior World Champs looking for podiums. He got a second out of the slopestyle behind Taiga Hasegawa. He's probably not going to get, well, he's not getting the podium here, but he could still get a decent placing, maybe top 7, top 6 potentially. The 84, 141.75 puts him into 7th place. A really nice, solid finish for Cam Spalding. Not what he would have wanted by his high standards, but still a respectable result. Now, Brooklyn DePriest, he has a switch backside 14. I would say arguably one of the most, alongside Tiger and Yuto Miyamura, one of the most technical tricks we've seen today. If he can build on this, then he is a serious threat for the podium.
Yeah, serious contender here. If he lands this trick right here, or when he lands this trick, it's gonna be it's gonna put some pressure there on the top spot.
Okay.
Coming in his regular stance, gonna be looking, I think, for that backside 14 again. Let's see.
Oh, went early.
Gonna have to keep it at 12. How did he?
He didn't mean to do that.
No, not at all. God,
how does this kid do it?
He just lands on his feet every time.
You saw him. He hooked his edge as he took off. He went a little bit too early.
And then just put it down like you meant to do that.
And the crazy part of that is, how do you judge it? Like, you're judging something that actually looks really good and is landed really well, but deep down is an accident.
I know, yeah. I mean, I'm super curious to see what the judges do here. Getting some hype down there from the crowd.
Oh, he could have. The disappointing part of this is, if he'd have been smart, he could have done the last trick is the claim and just been like, yeah! Judges don't know that he hooked it, and they're like, oh, was that a heel side takeoff, backside 12?
Probably was, yeah.
So usually if you're spinning backside, you're leaning onto your toe edge, and if you're spinning frontside, you're leaning off your heel edge. But you can reverse those. You can do frontside off your toes, or terrifyingly, heels. You can use your heels on your backside, and that's what Brooklyn DePriest did there inadvertently. He could have, the great sales pitch. If he could have sold the judges on that one, we might be looking at a new leader, but could still be a good score. Could be wrong. That's definitely going to be, I'm going to go in and debrief with Gaz and the rest of the judges and find out what's going on in there.
Yeah, I am kind of curious about that. I was just wondering that before, when the judges kind of know what's coming potentially, or what they think they know what's coming, and then see a really solid landed trick, but they know that it was supposed to be something else. Like, how do you judge that? Do you judge that as a mistake, or do you judge that for the trick itself?
Yeah. I mean, if it's let's say that he'd hooked it really hard and he saved a 16, then that would actually be a really specific debate. Right now, it's almost arbitrary because the 12 possibly shouldn't score higher than the 14. And then, judging by the amount of time that we're discussing this, I think the judges are having the same decision to go through in there. And this comes back. It's so fascinating that the first discussion we had today on this broadcast was that we're looking at the airbag generation. The fact that Brooklyn's been able to spend time on airbags and get so comfortable in those big spins, which would have been life-threatening 2 generations ago, means that he was able to save possibly a back 16, 14 or 16, dude. We don't know.
That lip is fried.
His lip is fried.
No, I think that lip is fried. The jump lip is starting to get a little bit mushy. Maybe his lip is fried
65.
Too.
So wonderful improvisations are not going to win you Junior World Championships. That's pretty upsetting for Brooklyn DePriest. It still puts him into 4th place, which really interestingly puts Tiger Hasegawa down in 6th. So 2 riders left to drop, Ian Mattioli and Tiger Hasegawa. Both of them will have a say in the podium, but Rocco Jameson is guaranteed 3rd place at the moment. That is for sure, as Ian Mattioli drops in.
He's coming in switch. What is it going to be? Oh, you can see that takeoff. Really dug in there.
Really soft. Really, really soft. So Ian Mattioli will stay in 2nd position. He too is guaranteed a podium finish. But now this is fascinating. Look at this. You see how much snow comes off with him.
And right off the takeoff, he knew that it wasn't happening. Good save from Ian Mattioli.
And he walks off dejected. He knows that he was denied potentially a spot at the top there. Now, Tiger Hasegawa with some serious questions to ask himself. Is he going to try and tear into a big 16? A good 14 will do it for him now. He has a 92.
Yeah, this all comes down to strategy for him, and it also is tricky, coming into this last jump, the lip is getting a little bit softer and conditions are deteriorating a little bit.
So front side 16, the cab 16 is what counts. The front side 16 goes down, and he does claim it. We've just seen two of the best young riders in the world really struggle with this lip. Taiga Hasegawa has powered through it and made a 16 work when a lot of people were struggling with 14s.
That was incredibly brave. Still going for that 16, probably only needed a 14 there, but still sticking to his guns and putting down a solid frontside 16 here. Man, it was almost short too, but whipping his feet underneath and stomping.
Unbelievable. Taiga Hasegawa take a bow. Everyone else playing with the 14s. Rocco Jameson. Well, the score is yet to come in, but it's difficult to imagine that not being in the 80s.
Yeah.
And with that 92 points from the cab 16 in the first run, you've got to think that this is Taiga's. So right now, Rocco Jameson in first with 162. Ian Mattioli in second with a 157. Yuto Miyamura in third with 153.5. Very conveniently, Taiga Hasegawa has a 92 for his first jump score. So anything more than a 70, and he's won this.
Yeah, I'm super. Yeah, the judges are talking about something.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really close, isn't it?
I can't imagine, though, that is lower than a 70. That, there was nothing really.
92.25. He is light years ahead of the pack with a total of 184.25.
Thank you so much.
You are the Snowboard Big Air Junior World Champion.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
I'm so happy. 2 times Junior World Champion Big Air. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. And I mean, you're also the overall Big Air World Champion at the moment too.
Yeah.
That must feel pretty special.
Yes. So good. I'm so happy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And can you tell me, talk me through that last trick that you just did?
Yes. Front side 1620. I feel a little bit short, but I learned stomp to frontside 60. I'm so happy, so exciting, stoked. Yeah.
Awesome, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you. Woo!
Thank you. Yeah, the ball. Riding. Riding.
So absolutely phenomenal work there from Taiga Hasegawa. What a performance. And he got the props there from the whole crew. Rocco Jameson in second. Ian Mattioli, the Italian, in third. Fellow countryman Yuto Miyamura is in fourth. Brooklyn DePriest, so unlucky, in fifth. And the reigning world halfpipe champion making a pretty good fist of things in big air, as well as his earlier showing in slope. It is Lee Cheon. A fantastic, scintillating day of competition in both the free ski and the big air here. That was spectacular.
That really was. That was a really high-level event. We saw some 16s. The winner, Taiga Hasegawa, putting down 2 16s. We saw an 1800 attempt, and the Kiwi Rocco Jameson really putting on here for the local crowd with 2 really solid 14s.
Yeah, and that is Taiga's. Let's not forget, it's Taiga's last year in the juniors. So he's cleaned up. He's got a junior world championship title in slopestyle and big air, and he's got the senior world championship title in slope as well. But he'll move into the big leagues for permanently next year, and that leaves another whole generation for the junior world champs next year. That wraps up the FIS junior world champs here in Cardrona, and it's been a fantastic week of competition, but the Winter Games New Zealand, presented by Roche-Posay and Cardrona Alpine Resort, is not done. We will be back at the weekend for the Obsidian Comp. So if you're in the area, come and join us. We'll have Big Air and Park Jam with some of the biggest names in the game. The senior comps will be going off. Rakai, Tate, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Ed. It's been a wonderful opportunity to get to talk about snowboarding and call some of these tricks.
Yeah, there is no question what we've seen in free ski and snowboarding today, that the future of both sports is in safe hands. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to head outside for some laps. It's a pretty stunning day. All the best.